Michigan Stadium, also known as the Big House. We've got one of the great rivalries in college football as the Michigan State Spartans come into town to take on the 15th ranked Michigan Wolverines. Hi everybody, I'm Gus Johnson along with my quarterback Joel Klatt, and welcome to Ann Arbor. Throw the records out the window. Michigan State Spartans have struggled. They have lost 4 straight games. Michigan playing some of their best football of the season. Something's got to give the day.
Yeah, there's no doubt. Listen, I believe that old adage, in particular when you're talking about Michigan State. Mark D'Antonio is going to have this team ready to go today. He told them you got to be aggressive and you got to be ready for conflict early and often in this game. It's that type of mentality that's going to help them immensely, in particular being on the road. If they can clean up some of the mistakes that they have made, in particular turn the football over, they'll be right there with Michigan. On the Michigan side, Gus, it's all about their mistakes and limiting those mistakes, which they have done since that halftime of the Penn State game. Just like the guys were mentioning, when they play clean football, they're one of the best teams in the country, and this team is primed to get one of these rivalry games, Gus, at home in the Big House. Jim Harbaugh has not beaten Michigan State or Ohio State here. They're trying to get it done today.
What great weather we have today, folks, in the great state of Michigan. 28 degrees. The high is supposed to be about 32. No precipitation, not much wind. Great day for Big Ten football. Michigan State, as you take a look at the series note, 112th meeting. Michigan State has won 8 of the last 11. MSU won the toss, deferred. Michigan to receive, as Cole Haan, the kickoff specialist, will send it away. Giles Jackson, who returned 2 weeks ago for a touchdown against Maryland, picks it up inside his own 5, gets up to the 15 and is wrestled down at the 16-yard line. So that brings on Shea Patterson. Patterson, after a shaky start, as you mentioned, turning over the football, he's really found a nice rhythm under Josh Gattis, the first-year offensive coordinator in Ann Arbor.
And I don't think it should be overlooked that he was dealing with a little bit of an oblique injury, and as he's become healthier, he's been more comfortable in the pocket. He's been much better getting the ball out to these very good wide receivers, and the run game has helped him. The last thing you would say is that all 5 offensive linemen have been the same 5 starters since the Wisconsin game. That continuity certainly has helped.
Hassan Haskins, who's emerged over the second half of the season in the backfield. Here's Patterson, and Patterson sacked on the first play from scrimmage. Raequan Williams getting into the backfield.
Great coverage down the field by the defensive secondary for Michigan State. Nowhere to go with the ball for Patterson, and this offense certainly is looking for their continued success, and in a large part that's due to their run game. You mentioned Haskins. He's been leading the charge with 224 yards per game rushing in the last 4. That's been certainly better than what they were early.
On second down and 17, they'll swing it out into the flats. This is Ronnie Bell with room, and Ronnie Bell, who's been impressive this season, stopped by Josiah Scott.
Looks like Josiah is still down over there, the corner for Michigan State. And this is a team that is already without its best player, its leader, the All-American Joe Bacci, who was suspended for a positive drug test for PEDs, and he is no longer there at the middle linebacker position, and so they will be short-handed. Josiah Scott was banged up last week, left the game in the 3rd quarter, Gus, and already second play of the game down over there on the far side.
Josiah Scott has started every game in his Michigan State career. Today is his 27th consecutive start, and he takes a knee right in the face mask.
Yeah, and that right shoulder, it looks like as well, that right side. He was getting blocked there by Tariq Black, number 7, who was trying to cut him down. He did a great job of regaining some posture in order to make the tackle, but it looked like he just took the brunt of that impact on that right shoulder. And now Michigan State on the first passing down opportunity will be down a corner. Shakir Brown, number 29, Josh Butler, number 19, both struggled last week against Illinois in the 4th quarter, giving up a lot of big plays through the air.
So 3rd down and 9.
False start. Offense, number 7. 5-yard penalty. Third down.
Dan Capron, your referee today.
And that was on Tariq Black, number 7. And, you know, Jim Harbaugh on the field before the game, he said, you know, we play clean, we're going to be real good. And already they've given up a sack and now an offensive penalty in this first series for the Wolverines.
So instead of 3rd down and 9, it's 3rd and 14 at the 12-yard line. Haskins in the backfield, hasn't touched it yet. Here's Patterson going through his progressions. Fires, sideline, caught, first down, Ronnie Bell. Nicely done by Shea Patterson. He stood in there, went through his progressions, and completed it.
They only had a 3-man rush, and so the protection was great. But watch Ronnie Bell, middle of your screen, number 8. He just keeps going, he keeps going. And right here, he puts his hand up because he knows he's got some space. Patterson finds him as he was eluding some of that 3-man rush to the left side. First down, Michigan.
On 3rd and 14, they get 16 yards. 1st and 10 at the 28, near side, incomplete. Nico Collins, the intended receiver, off of his fingertips.
I'm surprised that they're not at least challenging this run defense. I know statistically Michigan State is very good, but without Joe Bocci, the middle linebacker, they're very small inside. What they've done is they've moved their outside linebacker to inside. That's Antoine Simmons, number 34. He and Tariq Thompson, number 17, are in the middle, and they're undersized at the linebacker position.
Zach Charbonnet will run it this time. He cuts it back. The young man from right outside of Los Angeles, California, in his freshman year, having a terrific season. Jacob Slade with the tackle.
This run game has been so important to the resurgence for them offensively on the Michigan side, and this defense, Michigan State, you know, they have prided themselves year after year about being one of the best run defenses in the country, and we'll see if that's able to stay the same without Joe Bocci on the field.
3rd down and 5 at the 33 for Shea Patterson. Opening series for Michigan. Here's Patterson out of the gun to throw it. Winds up, goes deep, and too long. Ronnie Bell, the intended receiver. So Michigan State, great defense to start this game. The Wolverines will punt it away.
Trey Pearson in coverage, number 24. He was step for step with Bell. Man coverage across the board. Watch how he gets on top, and then he gets away with just a bit of a hold there with the right hand right here. This is why you heard some of the boos. And Bell was unable to get past him for the catch, and Michigan State's going to force a punt.
Will Hart in the punt, leads the Big Ten and is 9th nationally at 46.1 yards per punt on the season. Brandon Sowers is the deep man. He'll clear, actually picks it up at the 20, stood up and taken down quickly. A 47-yard punt for Will Hart. So coming up, Brian Lewerke and the Spartan offense on the field. Time now for Progressive Insurance Game Flow. So Michigan State ready to come onto the field offensively for the first time. Brian Lewerke, their quarterback, threw a career-high 3 interceptions and turned it over 4 times overall in last week's loss to Illinois. He threw for 251, rushed for 96 yards, also had a 42-yard rushing touchdown, but he's got to take care of the football in this game. On first down, they'll run it with Elijah Collins, the redshirt freshman. And he's having a terrific year out of the University of Detroit Jesuit High School.
Yeah, and they've got a lot of true freshmen on this lineup. By the way, I know that school sounds familiar.
That's right. Go Cubs.
Hey.
Go Cubs.
Look at you. You're like a proud alum. Right?
I am. I'm proud of that kid. He's a redshirt freshman, and he's already up for academic All-America.
Good for him.
2nd and 7 at the 23.
That's fantastic.
And they'll swing it out wide, and Anthony Williams, backwards pass, can't hang on.
Boy, what a smart play there that he was able to get back onto that football. Watch as Williams is going out to the right. This ball is backwards, certainly. It goes back about a half yard. The official on the far side, the tell is he puts his arm up backwards towards that other end zone, towards the 20. That's how you know that that official had ruled it backwards, and Williams did a great job getting on that football right away.
And he'll gain 4 yards on the play. 3rd down and 3 at the 27. Elijah Collins in the backfield. Lewerke to throw it. Lewerke over the middle and incomplete. But there is a flag on the play. Intended for Nelson. Maurice Nelson guarded by Daxton Hill, the talented freshman from Tulsa.
All right, so
Pass
here's Hill.
interference. Defense number 30. 15-yard penalty. Automatic first down.
Looks very similar to the play going the other direction, but he's certainly impeding the receiver's ability to get back to the ball. Maurice Nelson's trying to get back inside. That ball was thrown a little bit inside, and Daxton Hill was impeding his ability to go make the catch.
So that'll make it first down and 10 at the 42 for the Spartans. They lost to Illinois 37-34 in East Lansing last Saturday, blowing a 21-point fourth quarter lead, losing their fourth straight. Lewerke running it. He had 96 rushing yards against the Fighting Illini last week. He gains 8 on this play.
I think he's going to have to be a big part of their run game here today. He did a tremendous job last week against Illinois running the football. He said almost 100 yards on the ground from their quarterback. And the way that Michigan runs their defense, you've got to be able to take away their aggressiveness, and you do that with some of those zone read plays in the quarterback run game.
Second down and 2 at midfield, and some movement up front. Carlo Kemp points in the other direction and says it wasn't me.
He was pointing at 62, Luke Campbell.
Offside with contact. Defense in the neutral zone. Number 2, 5-yard penalty.
He was saying that Campbell moved that right guard. Kemp is right over him. I didn't see it flinch. Only after Kemp moved did Campbell maybe give a flinch. So Carlo Kemp, the senior from Boulder, Colorado, gets another penalty for Michigan. That's already 3. The mistakes early in this game piling up against the Wolverines.
Second first down by a penalty. And they'll run it with Elijah Collins. Collins picking his way through the hole. And he'll pick up about 3 yards on the play. Michael Dana, the Central Michigan transfer, with the tackle.
Well, this is a huge down for Michigan because they're so much better in third and long defense than they are in third and medium, third and short. They get their pass rushers on the field. They run bracket coverage that you heard Charles Woodson talk about. That's why this down is so important for them, to try to keep Michigan State behind the chains in an obvious passing situation.
Opening series for the Spartans, faced with a 2nd and 7 at the 42. Collins breaks it back. You talk about this bracket coverage, and you were trying to explain it to me last night. Looked complicated, so explain it as if you were talking to my mom.
Well, it's basically like this. You've got 7, they've got 5. So you're going to double team 2 guys and run man-to-man against 3. It's a little bit like a box and one style defense in basketball, but they can't run it on these short yardage situations. That's why second down is so important. First down is so important, because now you keep them out of that brackets coverage, which is so hard to beat.
3rd and 3 at the 38. Lewerke with time. Lewerke, though, will be sacked. Michael Dana gets to the quarterback for a 4-yard loss.
The Central Michigan grad transfer, he's up at the top left, and he's going to get yourself all the way in there, and it was terrific coverage down the field. He might have had a shot there to take Elijah Collins on the wheel route. He was working against Cam McGrone, number 44, the inside linebacker, but Lewerke didn't see him, and Dana is able to get home for the sack.
Donovan Peoples-Jones is the deep man. Jake Hartbarger, a Ray Guy Award finalist, will punt it away. He's averaging 43.4 yards on 49 punts this season. 15 have gone over 50 yards, delivers. And the ball bounces and will be downed inside the 15-yard line. So Shea Patterson and the Michigan offense will be back on the field for the 2nd time. No score from Ann Arbor. Michigan State on Fox.
Everyone has a crew.
The hardest working player, Willekes, last year was the Big Ten Defensive Lineman of the Year. This year, coming off of a broken leg, he suffered in the bowl game. He is now back to 100%. He's been fairly productive this year. I expect a big finish to the season, including maybe his best game today. He is a terrific defensive end.
Kenny Willekes, one of 10 semifinalists for the Burlsworth Trophy, awarded to the best player who was a former walk-on.
It's my favorite trophy in college football.
First down, you were a walk-on. First down and 10 at the 14. And they'll hand it off. This time it's Hassan Haskins. And when you look at what Haskins has done, he was a prolific running back out of Eureka High School in Eureka, Michigan. Came to Michigan as a running back, but they moved him to linebacker. Now he's back at running back, and since he's gotten an opportunity to get comfortable, this is a different team.
It really is, and I think what it's done is relieve some of the pressure on the freshman Zach Charbonnet. So now it's certainly more of a two-headed monster in the backfield, and Haskins has done a tremendous job.
Second down and 7. Here's Patterson to throw it. Patterson steps up in the pocket, buys time across the middle, and it's caught. Nicely done. Sanders still found a soft spot, the freshman. And he'll gain 15.
And if Patterson's able to get this ball more up on his chest, he's going to run forever. Look at all of that grass. But Sainer still does the right thing. Secure the catch first. If he tried to get too cute there and drops the football because he's got so much room to run, then it's certainly a negative play. But Sainer still comes up with it nonetheless.
First down and 10 of the 32. Here's the reverse. Giles Jackson's got speed. Giles Jackson down inside Michigan State territory. 21-yard gain. Xavier Henderson with the tackle.
When you've got wide receivers that will block down the field, you can have explosive runs. And watch on the outside. First of all, you got a great block from McCune right here. And then down the field, number 4, that's Nico Collins, locked up on the corner, doing a great job providing free space as he's blocking Josh Butler 20 yards down the field.
Remember, Giles Jackson returned the opening kickoff for a score against Maryland 2 Saturdays ago. This time they'll go near side. That ball incomplete. Nico Collins make that Ronnie Bell the intended receiver.
They're doing a great job right now of trying to out-leverage or flank the defense. You know, Michigan State on base downs, they love to sit in their very sound, simple concept. 4-3, 4 defensive linemen, 3 linebackers, and then they run cover 4 behind it. Low safeties, 2 of them in the middle of the field, and basically man coverage on the outside. Here's right here. Here's your safety. Here's your safety. He's coming down. And now you got some blitzing action.
Second down and 10. They run it. Haskins. Hassan Haskins in his first career start against Notre Dame. At career highs of 20 carries for 149 yards. A 14-yard touchdown and other runs of 20, 25, and 49 yards. 2 weeks earlier, he ran for 125 and a touchdown and had 3 runs of 20 or more yards against Illinois.
You know, I know all of us point towards that second half of the Penn State game, and certainly, Gus, they started playing better. But when they just throttled Notre Dame here in the Big House, I think that's when they gained their confidence, in particular rushing the football.
Third down and 3 at the 40. Patterson over the middle and incomplete. Once again, well defended. Tariq Black, the target.
Josh Butler's in coverage, number 19. This is terrific man-to-man coverage. Look at him get over the top and get his hand just in there to disrupt the catching point and cause the incompletion. And on this point in the field, looks like Michigan is opting to go for it here from the 40-yard line.
So 4th and 3 at the Michigan State 40. Remember, Patterson's got great legs. He can really run it if he gets to the edge. Empty backfield for Shea Patterson. Patterson to the sideline and incomplete. Nico Collins, the target. And that one broken up by Nico Collins. He was guarded closely by Josh Butler.
Butler again in coverage. Lots of contact on the outside. Some inconsistency so far. And now these officials have called it on the outside. I think when we see him back on the field next week after this suspension, I think we're going to see a player motivated and ready to rock.
First down and 10 at the 40-yard line for Michigan State. Lewerke near side and knocked down. Great job by Lavert Hill. One thing about this Michigan secondary, they're 3 deep at corner and safety.
Well, they love Lavert Hill and Ambry Thomas, and those are your starters, and they can cover. There's no doubt about it. But Vincent Gray is another corner that you'll see, number 31. Their secondary is really led, though, by their safeties, who's playing the best football of their lives, Brad Hawkins and Josh Metellus, number 20 and number 14.
Second down and 10 at the 40. Elijah Collins, the pistol back. They'll give it to him, and he's ambushed before he can get back to the line of scrimmage. Crawls his way forward. Nicely done. Aiden Hutchinson, the sophomore from Plymouth.
Check out Hutchinson from this right side, guys. He's just going to squeeze right down the line of scrimmage. And the pulling guard, that was 62, Luke Campbell, he can't get him. Hutchinson was too quick and aggressive up the field, and he's able to get into the backfield and make the tackle.
Keep your eyes today, folks, on 97 and 44. Hutchinson and Cameron McGrone. They say that they're future stars for this Michigan team. 3rd and 9 at the 41. Lewerke fires over the middle and caught for first down. Ryan Lewerke hits Julian Barnett over the middle, the freshman from Belleville, and it's a first down after a gain of 13.
Barnett was the #1 athlete coming out of the Midwest. This is that bracket coverage on the outside there in man. Did you see how he works to the outside, right into the face of Ambry Thomas? Then he creates the space on the inside that Lewerke needs for the completion, and Julian Barnett makes the catch.
First down and 10 at the 46, empty backfield for Brian Lewerke. Here he is to the sideline, incomplete. Now, what's the weakness of the bracket coverage, Joel?
Well, if you have time to beat it, you can do what's called bust the brackets, and you do that by creating those bunch formations. That's why Michigan State was in those bunch sets. That's Don Brown right there, the defensive coordinator for Michigan. And what he's banking on is that he's got 4 defensive ends in the game on the defensive line, and that he's going to create pressure before you have time to what's called bust the brackets by creating crossing routes and also taking the seam and going vertical right up the field.
2nd and 10 at the 46. Collins. And a jitterbug through the hole, pick up a couple. And last year when Michigan played Indiana, the crossing routes here in Ann Arbor caused them some problems. The following week they went down to Columbus and took on Ohio State, and it seemed as if the Buckeyes looked at that film and found something. Those crossing routes really hurt the Wolverines in that game.
And this is an adjustment to it. And right here, you've got the 4 defensive ends on the field. You've got Josh Uche, Michael Dana, Kwity Paye, and Aiden Hutchinson. Those are your 4 defensive quote-unquote linemen. They're all ends. This is a small, fast lineup for Michigan just to get after the passer.
3rd down and 7. At the 43, Lewerke caught. I don't know if it's enough for first down. Barnett again.
Looks like it's a hair short, but in this field position and with the way the season has gone, there's no doubt in my mind that Mark D'Antonio is going to go for this. We just saw Michigan go for it on 4th down. D'Antonio is certainly going to look to go for it here with Michigan State.
Coach D'Antonio saying this week, if you don't like confrontation, this probably isn't a good game to go to because it's just the way it is.
A really good spot on that last play. Creates 4th down.
Spartans need a yard. Lewerke looking for the first down, and he has it plus some. And Lewerke, a gain of 7 on 4th down and short.
What a great play. Watches the wide receiver, this little H-back. He's going to take off in motion, and that creates a little bit of indecision. And now Lewerke can get up the field, find the seam, and create a first down for Michigan State. Good play call there, and you would think that they're just going to hammer away forward, try to get the yard inside the tackles, and they run a little bit of a stretch read zone, and Lewerke is able to find himself a seam and the conversion.
First down at the Michigan 30 for Michigan State. Lewerke down the seam, caught. Touchdown Spartans. Cody White, a gain of 30. And the Spartans are on the board.
Cody White White is the most dangerous player Michigan State has on the outside, and he does a marvelous job of getting into the seam, creating some space away from Ambry Thomas, and then stretching for the end zone. Boy, that was awfully close to see if he got himself in before anything hits. It sure looks like right there the ball is crossing the plane of the goal line when his knee hits. What a great run after the catch, and you got to credit Brian Lewerke for the ball placement. It's hard to tell if that left knee was hitting before the right one of the previous shot. Certainly nothing that I'm seeing so far would negate this touchdown. But the ball placement, Gus, is so important because if that ball's not right on his chest, if he has to reach back at all, he doesn't have the ability to run after the catch. There's a wrist. A wrist would put him down. The forearm would put him down.
I don't know. The point of the ball looks like it's breaking the line.
Gosh, it does. I mean, it looks so close. The problem is that you're not getting anything definitive. Right there, his left forearm is down. The ball looks like it's over the plane of the goal line.
For Cody White, if this stands, terrific route, terrific touchdown.
After review, the runner's knee was down with the ball inside the 1-yard line. The ball will be placed inside the 1-yard line, at which point it will be first down and goal. The clock will start on my signal.
You know, here's my problem with this replay. Replay is not supposed to presume. We're supposed to have indisputable video evidence. And while I agree that that's most likely what happened, we didn't actually see video of the knee down and him short. That is not replay's intent to re-officiate the play. They're supposed to re-officiate the call on the field. I think replay has gone totally overboard throughout college football, and I think that's an example right there.
First down and goal at the 1. Elijah Collins, the deep back for Michigan State. Play fake, Lewerke, wide open, touchdown, Spartans. Max Rosenthal lined up as a fullback, got open, and Lewerke puts it on him.
When you put the fake right into the face of the defense, what happens is you can sneak a fullback out into the flat. Now all those players are in conflict. They're in run conflict because they've got to have their nose in there to defend against the downhill run. You sneak the fullback out, and it's an easy pitch and catch for a touchdown, and Michigan State is able to put it on the board.
Spartans covered 9 plays, 60 yards. They score in 3 minutes and 47 seconds, so the road team scoring first. Michigan State trying to bounce back from last week's loss to Illinois, up 7-0. Third member of our team on the sideline, the All-American girl, Jenny Taft.
And this rivalry runs deep. Gus, I know you know it well, being from Michigan. When you look at these two rosters, over 100 players combined from the state of Michigan, and a particularly special homecoming for Michigan State linebacker Antoine Simmons. Grew up in Ann Arbor, his high school just across the street from us. He said he received text messages all week about this one, didn't respond to anyone. He said, I'm going to let my game speak for myself, but this one is personal for Simmons and so many guys in this one today.
All right, thank you very much, Jenny. You know, Jenny's from Minnesota, so she's got no problem with the cold weather. Short kick fielded at the 16-yard line. Giles Jackson tries to get outside, does, and hurdles a man over the 30-yard line up to the 32. Time for a T-Mobile game break. Let's go to Los Angeles.
Gus, 7-2 Indiana visiting number 9 Penn State. Hoosiers hoping for their first ever win in Beaver Stadium. Peyton Ramsey finds a wide open Ty Freifogel for a 38-yard touchdown. Penn State answered with a field goal, but Indiana is on the goal line right now. Currently 10-7 Nittany Lions. Back to Gus and Joel.
Got to be careful with that Indiana team. 7 wins on the season. Coach Allen has them playing well.
And they're without Michael Penix, their normal starting quarterback. He's going to be down for the season, so it's Peyton Ramsey in for the Hoosiers.
On first down, Charbonnet running it straight ahead. And they're so impressed, the Michigan coaches, with Charbonnet's intellect as a football player.
Especially as a young player. He understands blocking schemes, in particular in the pass blocking schemes. That's one area that in fall camp he shined the most. And this is an important series, Gus. You know, this Michigan team needs to answer. They put together a quality series. It was stopped on 4th down. This is a big one for Shea Patterson.
2nd down and 8. Patterson quickly over the middle, and he has a 1st down. Nice throw. Nico Collins with the catch. Don't forget, Michigan is 6-1 when Nico Collins catches a touchdown pass.
We're going to get Collins just on a little slant right here. Easy RPO right there. The linebackers were sucked up near the line of scrimmage on that run action in the backfield. Patterson saw that, saw the space behind it, pulls the ball out, throws the easy completion right behind the Collins. 23rd catch of the season for Nico Collins. He has 3 touchdowns this year. 1st and 10 at the 49. Patterson flips it out. Donovan Peoples-Jones out of Cass Tech gets drilled as he goes out of bounds, and a flag. Shakur Brown with a late hit. And it was certainly close. Shakur Brown was getting blocked by Nico Collins. And Donovan Peoples-Jones was spinning out of bounds, and his left foot was basically
the play
just
was over.
out.
Personal foul. Late hit out of bounds. Defense number 29.
I don't know about that one, Joe. Looks like he still had a foot in bounds.
It's certainly close. I think it could have gone either way. You could have kept the flag in the pocket. I think that it's probably this officiating crew trying to keep emotions down in a rivalry game, but I certainly believe more times than not that flag can stay in.
On 1st down, Patterson to the sideline. Nico Collins again. We saw what happened last year in East Lansing.
That's right.
Pre-game, so I would understand why the officials would try to
call it a little tighter, right?
Call a little tighter.
And in particular when it comes to this, right? This is the next play. Collins putting his shoulder down, trying to gain extra yardage.
Little brother, little sister, a lot of words being thrown around between these two teams over the years. 2nd and 2 at the 21. Patterson pulls it out, drops it down, caught. Ronnie Bell cuts it inside. Ronnie Bell inside the Spartan 5. A gain of 18.
They're doing such a good job of off of the run action in the backfield. They're always faking here, trying to get the linebackers to suck towards the middle of the field, and then they're exploiting outside the numbers with their speed and their wide receivers. Michigan's on the move, trying to answer that Spartan touchdown.
Is sponsored by AT&T Business. A beautiful sunny day here in Ann Arbor. 28 degrees at kickoff. 7-0 Michigan State leading Michigan, but the Wolverines are threatening. 1st down and goal at the Spartan 3-yard line.
No Shea Patterson on the field. A little wildcat here, Gus.
Haskins will handle the ball. Leans forward. And he'll get to the 2 as Xavier Henderson makes the tackle. Patterson remaining on the sideline.
Great job there by 72 from Michigan State. Mike Panashuk. He disrupted that play in the backfield from his defensive tackle spot, and there was nowhere to go. And again, they'll try the same thing. They went to the tight end side last time right. Looks like they'll go left here.
2nd and goal. Now Haskins looking. Touchdown, Wolverines.
It's John Runyon and Ben Bredesen right here. Look at this double team. This is what you need. Movement out of your offensive line inside the 5-yard line. And now you're going to get the seam in order for the running back to find the end zone. A great job by the tight end as well. And Runyon and Bredesen, those experienced offensive linemen, both seniors on that left side, able to pave the way for an easy score for Haskins. That's the other Panashuk brother, Jacob, 96, who's shaken up on the play. Here he is, left defensive end, Gus.
3rd rushing touchdown of the season for Haskins. As Michigan goes 7 plays, covering 68 yards, scoring in 2 minutes and 19 seconds. Quinn Nordine comes in to attempt the extra point. Up and good. Start of the second quarter. We're level at 7. Hassan Haskins finding the end zone. Michigan on the board. 1898. So far, our score 7-up.
That last drive was impressive, and they needed it because they needed an answer after Michigan State went down the field. 7 plays, 68 yards, and a touchdown. That offensive line really paving the way. And I said briefly to start this game, Runyon, Bredesen, Ruiz, Owenu, Mayfield, those 5 guys up front, such a part of their success over the last 4 games running the football, Gus, has been the continuity up front with their offensive line. The first time that those 5 started together this year was against Wisconsin, and they've been together ever since.
Jake Moody sends it away. Anthony Williams is a deep man. He lets this one bounce into the end zone for a touchback. Let's go to Sam Farber for a game break.
Gus, number 9 Penn State hoping for that bounce back from the loss to the Golden Gophers. Sean Clifford taking matters into his own hands, running up the middle, gets a block, 38-yard touchdown. Back and forth these two sides go at 17-14. Nittany Lions leading, heading towards the second quarter.
All right, Sam, thank you very much. Who do you like in that Iowa-Minnesota game in Iowa City today?
I tell you, I like Iowa. You win that emotional game if you're Minnesota. Can you get right back up on the road? I think that's really tough to do. Iowa's a tough place to play, Gus. We know that. We've been up to Kinnick, and their defense is certainly hard-nosed defense. These Michigan fans know that. They played just a snot-nosed slobber knocker here earlier in the season against these Wolverines.
1st and 10 of the 25 for Lewerke. Hands it off. Elijah Collins bottled up and taken down.
Well, this is the big deal, is that for Michigan State, they've got to be able to run the football on 1st down, as there's now some fireworks here after the play, some emotions, and now a flag will go up. And this started on the kickoff. There was some pushing and shoving after the kickoff, and now here on the first play of the series, after the play, a little extracurricular, some bumping and then some shoving, and we're going to get a personal foul, I'm sure.
After the play was over, unsportsmanlike conduct. Defense number 97. 15-yard penalty and an automatic touchdown.
It's Aiden Hutchinson.
97's first unsportsmanlike conduct foul of the game.
Hutchinson is one of these Michigan kids, and he has talked so much about what this rivalry means to him. So there's the starting of pushing and shoving, and then now Hutchinson is right in the middle, and he's kind of shoving and things of that nature. And unless he said something, I don't quite understand why there was a penalty just on him. He didn't do anything any differently than anybody else down there. So you got to at least assume, Gus, that was verbal and not something that he did from an actions standpoint.
Officials calling it tight early. 1st down. They'll run the end around, and it's Elijah Collins stopped by Michael Dana. I think Michael Dana, the graduate transfer from Central Michigan, has been a great addition to this Michigan defense.
He's been playing great football, and he's a little undersized to be playing in the tackle position where they've got him playing, but his speed and his ability to get after the passer allows them to do so many creative things, not only in coverage, but with stunts up front, twisting him, sliding him down gaps. He's been certainly a great player for them.
Lewerke pumps it, drops it down underneath. Nice move by Cody White, still on the run, and Cody White gets out of bounds. Flag on the play in Michigan territory.
Cody White with a great run. There's also a flag down the field on the far side near the 40-yard line. So it looks like there's going to be a couple of flags here on this play. What a run from White, who broke a tackle at the middle of the field.
It'll be a 20-yard gain if it stands. Cody White, you know, with leading receiver Darrell Stewart out with a leg injury.
After the play, there are 2 unsportsmanlike conduct fouls. number 7 of the offense, number 62 of the offense. Both of those fouls will be enforced from the succeeding spot. It will be Michigan State's ball, 1st and 10.
All right, so here's why he's going to come. Look at him go in there for the little kind of tunnel screen, and then it was a great run. He gets all the way out to the outside, and then as Hudson goes in after him, kind of taunts him maybe and looks over him. That's when the flag came out. When he walked over, there was a flag right on the big block in. Here's Mark D'Antonio talking to Cody White saying, we don't need any of that. It was such a successful play. Just turn around and hand the ball to the official, because it's certainly very clear, Gus, they're going to call it so tight here.
Brandon Wright running it this time. He'll gain a yard maybe on the play. Emotions running high. It is Michigan State.
And this officiating crew is determined.
And I like the way they're officiating.
Well, and they're determined not to let that get out of hand. And Gus, let's be honest, with the absolute debacle that we saw Thursday night in the NFL game, you can't complain too much that they're going to try to tighten this thing up, get those emotions out of this game so that we're just playing football from here on out.
Cleveland Browns' Myles Garrett just lost his mind. Suspended for the rest of the season for the Cleveland Browns. 2nd down and 8. And they'll run it with Wright. And Wright runs right into the outstretched arms of Aiden Hutchinson. Let's go back to last year. Michigan State has always been a heated affair, but last year Devin Bush and the Wolverines took it to another level before the game, breaking up State's pregame Spartan walk and scuffing up the logo on the field. Michigan will back that up, winning 21-7. 3rd down 5 at the 38.
Gus, here's those 4 defensive ends here. You're going to get all the stunting. Watch as they twist. You got 4 of them in the game. All of these guys are defensive end. Fast players are going to stunt. They're going to twist. Try to get pressure on the quarterback before he gets the ball away.
Lewerke, quick release, close to the 1st down, and he has it. Great read by Brian Lewerke as Julian Barnett made the catch, stopped by Cameron McGrone.
Well, they're doing a great job. See, you're going to get the twisting and everything from the linemen, but they're getting the ball out of Lewerke's hands quickly. So this is the bracket coverage. You've got inside and outside of some of these players, but when they're in the bunch set, they can just run a little hitch, and it's an easy completion.
On 1st down, Lewerke keeps it, and he'll get back to the line of scrimmage. Jordan Glasgow chases him out of bounds.
I love this 3rd down plan of attack for Michigan State, because it is negating this really complicated pass defensive scheme for Michigan. You got to give a lot of credit right now to this Michigan State coaching staff, and they've done a terrific job. Brad Salem is their offensive coordinator and play caller. There's been a lot talked about kind of the shuffling of the chairs, if you will, and roles on this Michigan State staff. Salem now calling the plays, but I love his plan so far today, in particular on 3rd down.
2nd down and 9 at the 49. Collins can't wiggle through the hole. Michael Donna got a hand on him early, and it's about a 2-yard pickup.
We'll see if Michigan goes back to their speed rush personnel and the bracket coverage. My guess is that they'll get out of it, and they're going to try to run something like a straight man coverage here to take away those fast, easy throws that Lewerke has been having so far on 3rd down.
Are they in it, Joel?
It looks like they're in brackets down here on the bottom. There's another bunch set.
3rd down and 7. Lewerke sprinting out, fires, incomplete. Cody White had it, just couldn't hold on in front of Daxton Hill.
So here's the coverage. Daxton Hill is a guy, he's on the outside, on the inside, number 30, and he's going to have anybody coming on that corner route. He's got Cody White, and he's there to knock the ball away. Just briefly, it looks like Cody could have had that ball, probably going to go back to the sideline and realize that he had his arms free and could have corralled that one for a 1st down.
Donovan Peoples-Jones is the deep man as Hartbarger stands at the 37-yard line. Gets it off. Peoples-Jones lets it go over his head and is down at the 1-yard line. Great coverage by the Spartans. And a terrific punt by Hartbarger. 48 yards, pins Michigan deep. Game tied at 7 at the Big House. standings presented by Discover in the Big Ten West. Minnesota with the top spot, undefeated, ranked 8th in the nation.
They got a couple of big ones. They've got Iowa left. They're going to have Wisconsin left. So they're trying to get themselves to Indianapolis to face, in all likelihood, the winner of that Ohio State-Penn State. Don't forget to tune into that Big Ten championship game presented by Discover. That's December 7th on Fox.
Michigan on the ground. Hassan Haskins running it straight ahead. Can't wait to watch that Wisconsin-Iowa game later on today, right here on Fox.
Minnesota.
From Iowa, excuse me, Minnesota game right here on Fox.
You know, remember 2 years ago we did that Penn State-Ohio State game. Saquon Barkley took the opening kick back. It was so emotional. Ohio State wins. Then the next week they go to Iowa, get their doors blown off. That's what Minnesota's going to be trying to avoid after that emotional win last week against Penn State.
On 2nd and 7, Patterson up the sideline, and that one thrown behind the intended receiver, Donovan Peoples-Jones.
Just not on the same page, and this now becomes a really important down because you've got to get yourself some space to punt the football. The goal when you're backed up inside the 5, as Jim Harbaugh would know, is to get at least 1, maybe 2 first downs so that you're changing the field position. You punt from right here, Michigan State's likely to start their next series in the plus territory, somewhere in the 48, 49-yard line, maybe even the 50-yard line. So a first down here would be huge.
3rd and 7 at the 5. Patterson out of his own end zone. Delivers. Caught and a first down. Donovan Peoples-Jones ran a great route on 3rd and 7. Would pick up about 9 and a first down for Michigan.
Time to throw the ball, but then you got to press all the way up before he drops out. That's the key. That timing was perfect by the quarterback and wide receiver. Jim Harbaugh loves it, and he gets that first down that they really desperately needed there to try to change the field position up.
Zach Charbonnet checks in at running back for Michigan. First down.
It's like Jim took a timeout there from the sideline.
Timeout, Michigan. They're first.
8:52 to play in the second quarter. 7-7 Michigan State. Michigan Stadium opened in 1927, and here's a fun fact for you. In 1927, when it opened, the Detroit Zoo acquired 10 Wolverines from Alaska, and 2 of them, nicknamed Biff and Benny, were paraded around the stadium in cages prior to each game. Alas, Biff and Benny ultimately grew too large and too ferocious, and for safety's sake, the plan was scrapped. And that's how Michigan wants to play football, like Biff and Benny.
I just love
some Wolverines.
They grew too big and ferocious.
Nasty critters, the Wolverines.
Oh, man.
Not indigenous, ironically, to the state of Michigan.
Don't let the truth get in the way of a good story.
There you go, partner. You're learning. 2nd and 7 at the 16. Shea Patterson runs it himself, gets to the edge where he's dangerous. First down and more.
That is something we have not seen a lot of this year, is Patterson in that quarterback design run. Here they're going to have the fake to Charbonnet. He's reading the defensive end. The defensive end squeezes down, and he pulls the ball, and he's on the edge. He has only kept 14 of those zone reads all year long. It was something that they were very good at a year ago. 7.5 yards per rush on quarterback design runs. This year, only 3.5. It's something they've got to get back to.
First down and 10, play fake. Patterson scrambling now. Patterson across his body over the middle and caught. Great job by Shea Patterson. Ronnie Bell found a soft spot, and it's a gain of 17 yards.
Patterson is such a different player when he's got some confidence, and I think running the football provides some of that confidence. He gets out, creates a first down. Now he's able to get loose on the right side, and look at Ronnie Bell always finding a space. He cuts his route off, brings it back to the middle of the field, and it's a completion for Michigan as Patterson finds the soft spot in the defense and throws a strike.
Shea Patterson as Thompson is escorted off the field for the Spartans.
It's
Tyreek Thompson out of Martin Luther King High School, senior from Detroit.
They cannot afford many linebacker injuries, Gus, because remember, Joe Bocci is out, so they've had Noah Harvey in the sophomore at that walkout Sam position. Simmons is in the middle, and now Thompson banged up for a play, and he'll have to go up.
First down at the 49 for Michigan. Patterson underneath, caught again by Ronnie Bell, and Ronnie Bell lunging forward, sniffing the first down marker. David Dowell with the tackle for the Spartans.
Michigan State was claiming that they got the ball there at the bottom of the pile. They kind of ran out of there. That was David Dowell. He had the football, but officials obviously ruled him down, and Michigan's got a great rhythm right now. They've got it started. Second and short, Gus. This could be a time for a shot.
After a 9-yard gain from the 42.
I think Michigan State called a timeout because they want to look at that last play.
Charge timeout, Michigan State. They're first.
Mark D'Antonio trying to give the booth a little more time to determine whether Dowell actually did get that ball.
All right. They'll take a look. 6:42 to go. We'll step away. Back after this.
We'll be all right.
All right, Michigan running the ball, and they pick up the first down with Charbonnet.
Real quick on that last play, that was not reviewed. That Michigan State was hoping for a review. It was not reviewed because progress was ruled to have been stopped on the field. That's non-reviewable action, and now we've got a Michigan offensive lineman down.
Not sure who it is. Number is blocked right now. I believe it's Cesar Ruiz, the center.
Well, this has been a quick game. Both offenses have established a bit of rhythm, at least on one of their series. It was Max Rosenthal, now 1-yard touchdown run, and then Hassan Haskins, the emerging running back for the Wolverines, gets in on a little wildcat package inside the 5. And these rivals are locked at 7 as Cesar Ruiz was the one down. He's the center, and if you take a look in the middle of your screen, number 51, and kind of gets caught up and went down a little bit awkwardly, but he is walking off under his own power on that quality run from Charbonnet. But this is one of those, Gus, as a quarterback, I could not stand this when all of a sudden you've got a new center in the game, because that center quarterback exchange, even with the shotgun, is different. He throws that ball back just a little bit differently, and so now Andrew Vastardis is going to be in. He's a senior. He's an experienced guy. We'll see how the snap is handled now.
First down at the 28-yard line for Shea Patterson and the Wolverines. Patterson. Play action off his back foot, near side, and it's a catch. Sanders still picked it up off the turf for a 6-yard gain.
Patterson was unable to get a lot on that ball. He was floating backwards in the pocket because of the pass rush. It almost got to him. This ball looked like it was really close to the turf. Sanders still earlier had a catch right near the ground, and what a great job of getting his arms under that ball and securing the catch.
Second down and 4 at the 22. Option. Charbonnet. First down, Wolverines. Simmons with the tackle, but Charbonnet with enough to pick up the first.
Well, Simmons was out there one-on-one with Charbonnet, but check out the wide receivers getting blocks down the field. This is what ultimately, there's a broken tackle, and then because of the work down the field by Nico Collins and Ronnie Bell, Charbonnet is able to pick up that first down. They're doing a terrific job working without the football on the edge.
11th play of the drive that started at the Michigan 2-yard line. First down and 10 at the 17. Patterson in the corner. Incomplete, but a flag on the play. Collins, the intended receiver. And this will go against Shakur Brown.
Brown was all over him, impeding his ability to come back to the inside and make a play on that ball.
Pass interference. Defense number 29. The ball will be placed at the 2-yard line. Automatic first down.
They tried to single him up. Go to Nico Collins, who is such a talented player. A lot of fighting going on, but you see how that arm was wrapped around him and he couldn't get back to the football, impeding that progress. That right arm was locked on that left hip of Collins, and Brown is called appropriately for that pass interference. And now Michigan is in business, partner, right inside the 5-yard line.
From the 2-yard line, Wildcat formation. Haskins handles the ball, picks it up, and Haskins dropped for a loss at the 5-yard line. Antoine Simmons wrestles him down.
What a great job by that linebacker crew. It started with Tariq Thompson, who came in there, number 17. He kind of blew the play up, and then Simmons ultimately was the one that got in there and made the tackle. And this Michigan State defense trying to bow their neck here on this series that has been really quality series from Michigan. 11 plays, up near 5.5 minutes now, 93 yards, Gus.
Second down and goal at the 5. Charbonnet, the big back, in the game. Patterson pulls it down, fires, touchdown. Nick Eubanks.
Well, you put the fake in the face of the linebacker, and you have Eubanks right here, and then all of a sudden he's going to come off of that block, bluff the block, go to the corner of the end zone. That is so difficult to defend because those second-level players have to commit to the run. It's that conflict that Michigan State used earlier. Now Michigan uses it here inside the 5 for an easy touchdown to Nick Eubanks.
What a drive for Michigan that started at the 2-yard line. They go 12 plays covering 98 yards, eating up 5 minutes and 39 seconds. Nick Eubanks pays it off with the touchdown from Shea Patterson. And the Wolverines take a 14-7 lead. Michigan taking the lead over Michigan State. And as you mentioned during the break, partner, Patterson's legs ignited that drive for the Wolverines.
Well, remember, it was 3rd and 7 from inside their own 5-yard line, inside their own 10-yard line at one point in that series. Patterson made a great throw on the outside. He gets it to Donovan Peoples-Jones for a first down, and then it was that zone read. Patterson got on the outside. They used the quarterback design run. That established some rhythm, because then the rest of the series, I felt like Patterson played his best football of the game so far. He got loose, found a 3rd down conversion to Bell, and ultimately Michigan finds their way into the end zone.
Anthony Williams is a deep man. He'll start from the 9-yard line. And Anthony Williams lost it. Michigan says they have it.
A near side official is saying that he was down.
And it will be Michigan State ball. Looks like he was down anyway.
Yeah, it sure did. Great call by that official, all over it on the near side.
The ruling on the field is that the runner was down prior to the ball coming out. It's first down.
Yep, great ruling. Great job getting it right in real time. And now this Michigan State offense here. 4 minutes and 11 left in the half. Going to try to answer this touchdown. They've had a lot of success when they've gotten into those bunch formations, Gus, on the outside with their wide receivers, and then gotten the football out of Brian Lewerke's hands quickly. Tried to negate the pass rush from Michigan, which is tremendous, and in the last 6 games has totaled 24 sacks.
First down and 10 of the 19. Lewerke handing it off to Elijah Collins, and Collins doesn't go very far. Maybe a yard, yard and a half.
See if Don Brown tries to dial up the pressure and force the issue here. Try to get another quick possession with more time on the clock for his offense, who have certainly established a rhythm on that last series. And again, Michigan State to throw the ball. They got to get the ball out of Lewerke's hands quickly on something short.
2nd and 9 at the 20. Lewerke, here's a short pass. That one sailing high. Matt Seibert couldn't go up and grab it. Brings up 3rd and long.
This is really what plagues Brian Lewerke, is you see really good quality stretches of play, and then all of a sudden out of the blue you'll just see a total miss. That was a total miss. Seibert's wide open. He's going to gain 5, 6, maybe even 7 yards on the play, and he just throws it over his head. And now you got the pass rushers on the field, Gus. Here we go. We got brackets coverage. We've got pass rushers on the field. In order to beat this, they have worked the middle of the field with number 2, Julian Barnett.
3rd down and 9 at the 20. Michigan State 2 of 5 on 3rd down conversions. Lewerke backpedaling, incomplete. Trey Mosley was the target. Brad Hawkins defensively for the Wolverines. And there's an injured player inside the 10.
Well, you're going to get the crossing route from this side. And Michigan State is very lucky that that wasn't picked off by Brad Hawkins. And 62, Luke Campbell, is the lineman down for Michigan State. It was a tale of tip passes last week on those interceptions, and the Wolverine fans know that that was almost a pick 6 going the other direction off of that tipped pass. Luke Campbell, by the way, didn't play last week, but that was due to an illness. It was not an injury. And he's off under his own power here after being shaken up on that play. Boy, Hawkins had a chance there. Anytime that ball goes up in the air as a quarterback, your heart just goes right into your throat.
And Lewerke has thrown a number of interceptions this season that have been tipped.
Yeah, and trust me, that goes through your mind as a quarterback. You think that you're a little bit snake bitten, and really Michigan State was fortunate that that one wasn't picked off.
Hartbarger ready to punt it away inside his own 10. Peoples-Jones is the deep man. Michigan with a chance to get good field position here as he goes out of bounds at the 40. A 40-yard punt. Let's check in with Sam Farber for a game break.
Number 14, Wisconsin playing Nebraska for the Freedom Trophy today in Lincoln. Badgers Jack Cohn to A.J. Taylor bouncing off would-be tacklers. He's going to go 55 yards for a score. Jonathan Taylor's tacked on his 20th TD of the year. Wisconsin leading 27-14 at halftime. Gus and Joel.
All right, thank you very much. Jonathan Taylor's had some big games over the last couple of years against Nebraska.
Well, and he's had big games against just about everybody. Ask this Michigan defense about Jonathan Taylor. I mean, he was sensational in that game earlier in the year in Madison, in which Wisconsin kind of took it to these Michigan Wolverines.
First down to the 40-yard line for Patterson. Quarterback run. And Patterson tripped up in the backfield. Nicely done by Raequan Williams.
What a play by Williams, because he was double-teamed on this, Gus, and he gets away from the double team, gets to his left, and just reaches out and kind of trips Patterson. Watch Williams. He's number 99 middle of your screen. Double team, then he gets away and just with his left hand is able to get Patterson down to the ground.
So no gain on the play. 2nd and 10 at the 40. Patterson to throw it. Over the middle. Caught. Ronnie Bell. And a flag. Looks like some unnecessary roughness by Michigan State. Noah Harvey, number 45.
I thought it wasn't extra or after what they're discussing here, because you can't lift a player up and kind of suplex them or body slam them to the ground. So this move right here is what's ultimately going to get called. Even though it doesn't look egregious, they're going to discuss it now and try to come to a resolution with the officials. But this is what they're discussing.
There is no foul on the play for a personal foul. 3rd down coming up.
I actually like that pickup, because you want that to be an egregious absolute body slam, right? Pick him up kind of over the shoulder, WWE style. By the way, Friday nights on Fox, a little SmackDown. You know, you want it to be agreed. That one, it just looks like he's trying to get him down, and he was just barely lift off and was not slammed to the turf.
3rd down and 3 at the 47 after the 7-yard gain. Michigan 2 of 4 on 3rd down conversions today. Patterson fires, caught. Ronnie Bell down the sideline, and he's knocked out of bounds. Terrific throw by Shea Patterson. Xavier Henderson Patterson with the saving shove.
He's working against Trey Pearson, number 24, who falls down. Great ball. Bell adjusts to it over his right shoulder, and they're in business again. That was a really good throw from Shea Patterson. And after Pearson went down, Bell did a great job of keeping his feet. And how about the day Ronnie Bell is having? 7 catches, over 100 yards for the sophomore from Kansas City.
He's been a big play guy since conference play started, averaging 20 yards per catch. He's Michigan's most targeted receiver. Gains 42. 1st and 10 at the 11. The handoff, Charbonnet. And he'll gain a yard.
You know, I know Josh Gaddis as the play caller for Michigan, and what he does, he tries to get his best players and his hot players the ball. Patterson is 11 for his last 12 right now. I just got to assume that he's going to try to get a wide receiver singled up, and he's going to want Patterson here to take another shot into the end zone from the team. They love Nico Collins, number 4, in those one-on-one situations. And Tariq Black, number 7, he's the one that's actually going to be all the way up at the top of your screen. He's the one in that one-on-one situation now.
He's got great size at 6'3", Tariq Black. 2nd and 9 at the 10. Charbonnet tries to make people miss, and he'll get back to the line of scrimmage. Well defended by the Spartans. Willikis and Jacob Slade combining on the tackle.
And Simmons did a great job as well. Gus, 34. We've been calling his name quite a bit. He got right up the field and in the backfield. And that caused Charbonnet to cut before he wanted to, and now you're forced into that passing situation. That's why I thought that they would do it on 2nd down, try to keep that hot hand going again. Patterson, 11 for his last 12.
3rd down and 9 at the 10. Wolverines can still pick up a 1st down. Patterson. That one deflected and incomplete. Tariq Black ran a slant in front of Shakur Brown.
Really good coverage by Brown, and not a very good ball by Shea Patterson. This is thrown way too high and behind Tariq Black. There's virtually no way to
I think it was deflected at the line of scrimmage, Joel, if I'm correct. I'm not sure.
Well, that would explain
why my eyes could be deceiving me here.
Could be why it was behind him there, but boy, a missed opportunity there for Michigan after the big play from Ronnie Bell set him up inside the 10.
Quinn Nordin in for a 28-yard field goal. Nice and smooth, and it's good. Michigan has had some kicking woes, Nordin and Moody. Today it's Nordin. Wolverines up 17-7. And don't forget, the Big Noon halftime show sponsored by State Farm is standing by at the half. Rob Stone, Brady Quinn, Reggie Bush, Matt Leinart, and Coach Meyer joins Charles Woodson. All those Heisman Trophy winners there. Reggie Bush, Matt Leinart, Charles Woodson, Heisman Trophy winners. Is there any room to have a conversation?
Brady was a Heisman finalist.
And he was a Heisman finalist.
What is he, chopped liver?
Yeah, chopped liver. Who are you? Jackie Mason over here? Henny Youngman, Freddie Roman.
Try the veal.
Tip your waitress. 17-7. Michigan. 15 seconds to play in the 1st half. This one kicked into the end zone. Got some big news. Here's Sam Farber for a game break.
Unfortunately, some bad news from Starkville, Mississippi. Number 5 Alabama visiting Mississippi State. Tua Tagovailoa extending the play, and on this hit, he had to be carted off the field. Tua just 4 weeks removed from ankle surgery. Alabama leads 35-7, but the story right now, Tua Tagovailoa carted off the field in the 1st half at Mississippi State. Back to Gus and Joel.
Thank you very much. And what a game last week, LSU Alabama. I thought that that was one of the most fun games to watch all season. Joe Burrow now top of the table in terms of the Heisman Trophy.
I just hate to see that for Tua. I mean, it's, you know, college football is better when the best players are out there playing. He's certainly been one of those players. Let's hope that's not as serious as it looked.
Michigan with 17 points in the second quarter. Shea Patterson, 14 of 21, 182 yards and a touchdown. Bell, 7 catches, 118, 17-7. Our halftime score, Michigan leads Michigan State. We'll send you to Rob Stone and the guys for the Big Noon halftime show in Los Angeles.
All right, Gus, thank you. Paul Bunyan.
Wait till you can't move!
Fox College Football is sponsored by AT&T Business. Welcome back to Ann Arbor. 17-7, our halftime score, Michigan leading Michigan State. Gus Johnson along with Joel Klatt, pretty evenly played first half,
Yeah.
I'd say, partner, but at the end of the first half, looked like the Wolverines found a little rhythm.
Yeah, and they found Ronnie Bell. You know, I mean, he was pretty special in there. But I thought both offenses did a nice job of executing throughout series and then executing once they were inside the 10-yard line. Let's take a look at some football insights brought to you by AT&T Business Edge-to-Edge Zone, where intelligence covers every edge of the field. This was the first touchdown for Michigan State. Watch as they draw the linebackers in, allowing the fullback the opportunity to get out uncovered into the flat for an easy touchdown. That was their first and only score. Then Hassan Haskins out of the Wildcat. He was able to get into the end zone. Nick Eubanks in the corner for Michigan on a nice play design. And Ronnie Bell, Gus, like I was saying, 7 catches for 118 yards so far in this ball game. He's been absolutely tremendous for Shea Patterson. And he's done one other thing really well, Gus. Finding space when Shea creates outside of the pocket. That's a big reason why they had such a great second quarter there for Michigan. 136 yards, 17 points there in the second frame.
Ronnie Bell with a career high in receiving yards with the 118. Michigan State won the toss. They deferred, so they'll receive it to start the second half. Partner, you got on gloves? It's like a summer day out here. What's going on?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Jake Moody will kick it off. Anthony Williams.
I'm soft now, unashamed.
That's okay. Ice cream on a summer day. And this one kicked into the end zone for a touchback. Let's check in with Jenny Taft.
Well, guys, it was a satisfied Coach Harbaugh walking in at the break. He said overall Shea Patterson has been solid. And how about Ronnie Bell? You guys briefly talked on him. He said, I need to see more of that. And defensively, we continue to do our job. For Coach D'Antonio, the message really was there was a lot of good. You know, that 98-yard scoring drive for Michigan really was the difference maker in the half. And he said, I'm not too pleased with some of the calls, the so-called taunting call. He wanted to make sure I heard him say so-called. But unfortunately, cornerback Josiah Scott, he is done for the day dealing with a head injury, Gus.
Okay, Jenny, thank you very much. First down and 10 at the 25 for Michigan State. Lewerke rolls out of the pocket, looks, throws deep, down the field, incomplete, but a flag. Julian Barnett, the receiver, covered by Ambry Thomas.
We got 2 flags. There's one near side 38-yard line on the hash. Then there's, I guess, a couple more on the other side of the field, far side. There was a lot of grabbing going on in that back end.
There are 3 fouls on the play. Holding. Defense. Number 1, that penalty is declined. Pass interference. Defense. That penalty is declined. Personal foul. Roughing the passer. Number 19, defense. That penalty is accepted. 15-yard penalty from the previous spot. Automatic first down.
Kwity Paye.
Well, this is in the back end. Here's the pass interference. You can see the arms wrapped around the freshman Julian Barnett. And so Thomas clearly arrived early. And then this was back in the pocket. And Kwity Paye going up high on Lewerke. And that drew the flag. And now Michigan State with a little kickstart to their first series here in the second half.
The previous play is under further review.
Here's what they're going to review is if Kwity Paye actually was guilty of a targeting there in the backfield.
Remember, Lewerke got his bell rung on a hard hit in the fourth quarter last week against Illinois. He stayed in the game and threw a pick 6 on the next play.
Here's Kwity Paye as he kind of goes up.
Yeah, that is targeting. It's a nasty hit.
It's going to be close, Gus, and Lewerke is in a defenseless position, and so you cannot contact forcibly in the head or neck area, and you also cannot launch and contact with the crown.
That looked like a launch and contact with the crown to me. Let's go to Dean Blandino. Dean, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, that's what they're looking at. They're looking at potential targeting. You know, I do see him lead with the hands, but he also lowers his head. Now, the question is, does he attack with forcible contact with either the crown or to the head neck area? You know, looking at that, and they did stop the game, I do feel there is enough to make this targeting.
Now, Dean, I think it's really important because in slow-mo, I think it looks one way. Will they look at this in real time in order to try to make the determining call?
Yeah, they'll look at it both ways. They'll look at the live shot in real time and then go slow motion to try to determine. The only question I have, does he get him with forcible contact?
There was no targeting. It is first down.
So no targeting.
It's important to note as
obviously they felt there wasn't enough.
Yeah, and Dean, it was important to note that that call is completely re-officiated in the booth. They are re-officiating all elements of targeting there in the booth, trying to establish whether it happened or not. They established that it did not. And Dean, we always appreciate your help, man. Thank you.
First down and 10 at the 40-yard line for the Spartans. Lewerke winds up, deep ball short. Cody White may have had a step, but Lewerke couldn't put it on him.
Well, and it came out of his hand awkwardly. You know, the wind's not blowing too hard, but that one fluttered out of Lewerke's hand almost immediately, and it was going to be short from the get-go. Watch as this ball, as Hutchinson's trying to bear down on him, and immediately out of his hand. See how that just is wobbling, and it's just coming up short the entire time. Cody White unable to get back and backtrack for that completion.
Second down and 10. Lewerke keeps it, and he's gobbled up in the backfield. Josh Metellus.
Metellus has done such a good job this year. In fact, when you're talking with Coach Harbaugh and Don Brown, the defensive coordinator, you ask them about Josh Metellus, the first thing they'll tell you is he is the boss of the defense. He's very involved in communication. He's near the line of scrimmage. He's back in coverage. He's involved in all elements, and he's going to have to be great here because this is exactly when they get into that pass rusher situation. Here's Metellus. He'll be the deep safety on this play.
Third down and long. Lewerke. And it's intercepted by Thomas. Ambry Thomas camped under the football. And Michigan turns over Michigan State.
And for the second time on this series, that ball just completely flutters out of Lewerke's hands. This was woefully short as he's trying to get Julian Barnett on the outside. Decent coverage, a lot of contact as there's been all day long, but that ball is severely short from Lewerke. Fluttered again, unable to get the spiral that he needs to get the ball down the field, and Thomas has a pretty easy interception there on the coverage down the field.
8th interception of the season for Brian Lewerke. And Michigan takes over. First down and 10 at the 43. Patterson off the play fake. McCune with room. And the tight end will get inside Michigan State territory. Xavier Henderson with the tackle after a 19-yard pickup.
They've done such a good job all day long of getting these run fakes in the middle, and watch as it sucks the linebackers to the inside, and then they get outside of that position with the tight end, the wide receivers on the outside. Again, Ronnie Bell blocking well, and McCune with a big catch.
First down at the 38. Patterson looking. And incomplete.
Patterson had to adjust because of the pressure in the backfield. Kenny Willekes was bearing down on him. He did a great job just to get himself free to make this throw, but again short. And Nico Collins unable to come back and make that catch. Now, this Michigan State defense, they've got to find a way to put more pressure on Shea Patterson. And it's not really in their nature on first or second down to try to create this pressure. They try to do that more on third down, but here they're going to get in man coverage.
Second down and 10. He guns it. Ronnie Bell still on the move. What a day for Ronnie Bell as he's taken down inside the Michigan State 20. He picks up 20 yards.
He's wide open on the edge. Watch as Bell is just going to hook up in this soft area. Nobody there. The walkout player who's supposed to be Noah Harvey, number 45, he was way inside the box. And that presents all sorts of space, and Michigan just stands up, throws the easy completion, and Ronnie Bell have a day. 8 for 138, and we're still in the third.
Jim Harbaugh can't stop saying good things about Ronnie Bell, the kid from Kansas City. They found on the basketball court. First and 10 at the 18. Patterson. Near side. Donovan Peoples-Jones making people miss. Sprint in. Touchdown, Wolverines. It looks like Michigan has found itself offensively.
And how about the athleticism of Donovan Peoples-Jones to extend over that pylon for the end zone, and the touchdown stays in bounds. And there's the leap and the extension and a touchdown for the Wolverines. And again, attacking outside of that defense. Patterson dropped it off on the check down, and Peoples-Jones did the rest.
4 plays covering 57 yards. They scored a minute and 19 seconds after the interception. Jim Harbaugh ecstatic with his offense. Wolverines starting to dominate.
If you want to keep up with me, eyes better had a tiger, better climb higher, heart better pump fire, better be willing to push it.
The Bell today.
Ronnie Bell, he's been absolutely tremendous. This guy has been down the field, he's been in the flat, and then I think the best part about it is when Patterson needs somebody and he's in trouble, he's finding the soft spot, working back to the football. 8 catches, 138 yards today, and really set up these quality drives and the ability for Michigan to get into the end zone. Ronnie Bell, and you said it, partner, earlier, when Jim Harbaugh, you bring up Ronnie Bell, what does he say to me? His face kind of lights up, and he says, hey, that's our wide receiver number 1. And that's what Ronnie Bell has been today.
All right, they kick it out of the end zone. Let's check in with Jenny.
Well, Gus, we saw that pick from Ambry Thomas that was responsible for that score in so many ways, but there were some quotes from him this week that a lot of guys really had some interesting things to say about. We've all heard the big brother, little brother analogy. He said this game is about the big brother, little sister, and who it is in this state, but he said no matter what, we're going to give it our all. No doubt about that, and he is playing to deliver at this point, guys.
And thank you very much, little sister. Boy, it gets worse between these two teams as the years go on. 24-7.
Familiarity breeds contempt.
Lewerke at his own 25. Throws on first down. Underneath. Caught. Whoa, what a hit there. Khaleke Hudson delivering the wood on Trey Mosley. Legal hit. He used his shoulder.
Khaleke Hudson, the Viper back. Here's Mosley, the true freshman. Head to the side. He's below the head or neck area. Boy, that's a pretty veteran move right there. I mean, yeah, that was a big hit, but he did absolutely everything right.
2nd and 10. And they'll run it. Collins. Elijah Collins stopped by Kwity Paye and Aiden Hutchinson.
Michigan State just has not been able to run the football. Kwity Paye here is down for Michigan. He's shaken up before this third down. You know, but this game is generally about who can establish the run, who can run the ball efficiently, and Michigan State just has not been able to do that. There's real speed.
Spartans, 19 carries, only 44 yards. Kwity Paye being looked at. Back after this. I tell you what, this young man is a tremendous athlete. He's 6'4", 277 from Providence, Rhode Island. He's a state champion in the 4x100 and the long jump in track and field coming out of high school. So he can move 4x100 at 277.
So basically your quarterback's worst nightmare. Got it.
Exactly. 3rd down and 6 at the 29. Lewerke in trouble. Lewerke dives. And he'll be close.
I don't think he got it. He needed to get all the way to the 35-yard line. It looked like he was just a touch short. He's trying to dive and extend. Yeah, definitely short. Good defense, swarm of Wolverines. This is one of the things that I think Michigan's defense has done so well over the last 4 games is run to the football. Mark D'Antonio knew it was going to be a difficult task moving the football on this Michigan defense.
I tell you, when you look at them on defense, they look fast. You're absolutely right. And sometimes, Joel, you can tell me better than I can tell myself. It looks like they got 6, 7 defensive backs on the field.
Well, they do sometimes, in particular in those passing situations. They put 4 defensive ends on the field, then they've got a couple of linebackers, and they go out there and they play, you know, 5, 6, 7 defensive backs at times. And if you want to say Khaleke Hudson is kind of a tweener between linebacker and defensive backs, and it's 7 guys out there to defend. That's how they run that bracket style coverage. Remember, 2 players from Michigan State will be double teamed. The other 3 wide receivers will be in man-to-man, and that's what they do. And it's so much speed on the field that it's tough to move the ball against. And this is chips in the middle of the table right here from Mark D'Antonio. He's going to keep his offense on the field and go for it in his own territory.
At his own 34, 4th and 1. Here's Lewerke running it, and he'll pound it forward and pick up the 1st down.
And we've seen 2 4th downs from Michigan State today, and on both of those plays, it's been Brian Lewerke, the senior quarterback, in the quarterback design run. And it's the same type of set where they're trying to bring somebody across the formation, get horizontal stretch from the Michigan defense, and then allow Lewerke to find a little seam and dive for the 1st down, and Don Brown hates it.
1st down at the 37. Collins trying to break 3. Cameron McGrone there to ride him down. I tell you, when you watch the film of Michigan's defense, number 44, Cameron McGrone, he's just standing out all the time over the last few games.
Well, and remember, he had to enter the lineup because Josh Ross, a really talented linebacker, was injured against Wisconsin. McGrone comes in, and he has solidified the middle of that defense. This guy does not come off the field. He's good in coverage. He's been excellent against the run. 6 consecutive games started now at the Mike linebacker position this year for the sophomore from Indianapolis.
2nd and 7. And Lewerke running the reverse with Barnett. Barnett, oh, beautiful run as he just runs over the defender and picks up the 1st down. Michael Dana threw himself under the chariot and got mauled, a 10-yard gain.
Yeah, and I think that was actually Gus Khaleke Hudson, the Viper, who came up and tried to stop Barnett initially. Here's the little flip reverse to Barnett. Great athlete. Out of Detroit, just a freshman. Here's Hudson, and Barnett just says, "Get off of me," and gains about 3-4 extra yards.
1st down at midfield for Michigan State. Lewerke steps up in the pocket, throws, nicely done. Seibert ran a great route, keeps his feet in bounds, and gains 20 yards.
Good throw from Lewerke because he had to maneuver in the pocket, and you got the tight end who's going to go up on a kind of a corner route. There's Seibert, and he finds the space, and Lewerke finally able to connect. He had missed on his last 6 passing attempts before that completion right there.
1st down at the 30, now near side, Cody White, and he's dragged down immediately. Ambry Thomas, the junior from Detroit's Martin Luther King. I tell you, they produce some great players at Martin Luther King High School.
And he can cover and he can tackle on the outside. And he just got the shoe top of Cody White. Cody White, we've already seen him break some tackles today and get loose. And that was a good open field tackle from Ambry Thomas.
2nd down and 11 at the 31.
They were not set. That is a huge mistake from Lewerke, but it looks like
snap. Charge timeout, Michigan.
Oh my goodness, Michigan bailed them out. That was going to be a false start on Michigan State, but the Wolverines called timeout from the sideline. We'll be right back. 24/7.
All flights have been delayed.
Super 6 app and play Super 6 NFL Sunday for free for a chance to win Terry Bradshaw's money.
Huge drive here. Michigan State trying to answer, stay within striking distance of their rival here in the 3rd quarter.
2nd down and 11 at the 31. Lewerke under pressure. Here's a screen. Caught. And a tackle broken. Collins gets out of bounds. Daxton Hill pushes him out of bounds. Let's check in with Jen.
Well, hey, Gus, just a quick update. We saw Kwity Paye back involved, but unfortunately for Michigan, Aiden Hutchinson remains out. Now, he does not have his helmet in his hand and seemed to motion frustration, pointed at his head to one of his teammates, but it appears he's trying to convince the medical staff he's good to go, but he remains out at this moment. I'll keep you posted on an update.
Well, that was the play, Jen, that we just saw, and he definitely swung around and took a look to be a blow to the head, and so now they're without maybe their best pass rusher.
Illegal substitution. The defense had 12 players in formation. The 5-yard penalty results in a 1st down.
So some confusion here for Michigan, and I think that's going to happen because now they're starting to mess with these lineups now, and so you don't know which personnel is there. They're all of them. You got 12 guys in formation. So a mistake from Don Brown's defense. 5 penalties resulting in Michigan State 1st downs so far today. And Michigan State has got to capitalize, though, here, Gus. This feels like the most important possession of the game for the Spartans. They got to get into the end zone.
1st down to the 18. Lewerke looking. Drops it off near side. Cody White and Ambry Thomas wrestles him down close to the line of scrimmage.
I tell you, they've already hit this route one time on this series, but the tight end on the corner route is open against this coverage. Seibert, number 80, is a guy that when he's in the slot or bunched up, he can get to the corner. There he is. That's something that I'm sure they'll be looking at. They've also got one-on-one on the bottom of the screen.
2nd down and 9. Lewerke gets to the line of scrimmage. Wiped out there by Glasgow.
Well, here's where you miss Aiden Hutchinson if you're Michigan. Kind of an obvious passing situation. You'd love his pass rushing ability on the field. So you got to think, if I'm Don Brown, he's got to be thinking about trying to pressure here, run that traditional man coverage. Michigan State is going to bunch at the top of the screen. They've done this several times. They'll try to explode out of it. They're going to have one guy in a hitch, somebody else to the corner of the end zone.
Maybe 4-down territory for the Spartans. 3rd and 8. Lewerke. Incomplete. Trenton Gillison, the receiver. That one skipped to Gillison. Brings up 4th down.
And really it was the rush of Cameron McGrone, the Mike linebacker, on the blitz. And he got right into the lap of Lewerke, and Lewerke was unable to put anything on the ball. Watch McGrone, who's right here, and he knocks Seibert right back into the lap of Lewerke. But Lewerke has got to put that ball on the wide receiver on the outside. Mark D'Antonio knows it. That's just a poor pass from the senior quarterback.
Brings on Matt Coughlin for a 35-yarder. He's 13 for 20 this season. And it's good. So the Spartans will take the 3 points. 6:43 to play 3rd quarter. 24-10, Michigan. of Joel's Breaking the Huddle content at foxsports.com/breakingthehuddle on Fox Sports social platforms, sponsored by Dr. Pepper. Must be getting interesting for you in your show nowadays.
Always something to talk about on Wednesdays after those playoff rankings come out. I'm sure there'll be more to react to next week.
Were you surprised at how far Minnesota jumped up, or do you think they should have gone higher?
Well, they probably should have been higher based on the criteria that was used for some of the teams above them, but
his ball kicked out of bounds.
Expect the unexpected with the committee.
A free kick out of bounds by the kicking team. The ball will be placed at the 35-yard line. First down.
Well, this offense doesn't need any help. They're going to get it with their field position here. The turnaround has been really solid the last 4 games, mainly because of the lack of turnovers. 7 early, only 1 in the last 4. And then the run game. They've been running the football for almost 100 more yards per game. Certainly the touchdowns are there, but also the explosive runs. They've had 10 explosive runs of 20 or more yards in the last 4 games. In the first 5, they only had 1. So the emergence of Hassan Haskins into the lineup has allowed this run game to get loose on the outside.
Haskins with 60 yards rushing 2 weeks ago against Maryland. Told you about the big games against Notre Dame, 149 on 20 carries. Also a 100-yard game against Illinois.
So they're reviewing this. I know you didn't hear that announcement. Here's what they're reviewing. You might be thinking, like, what in the world are they reviewing? It looked like Giles Jackson was really close to maybe touching that ball. If he did, then it's not a penalty.
And he did not. It didn't look like he touched it.
Didn't look like it. Watch, does he? No. Just waved at it on its way by.
The freshman is well schooled on his job as a returner.
After review, the ruling on the field is confirmed. The kick was untouched. It will be first down at the 35-yard line.
Listen, that's a huge review, and correctly they stopped to take a look, because that's a drastic change in field position. If he had touched that ball, Gus, Michigan would have had the ball at the 3-yard line where it went out of bounds. So terrific stoppage upstairs just to make sure, because the change in field position is 32 yards.
Haskins in the game at tailback for Michigan. And they run it around the corner with Jackson and the young man from Freedom High School in Antioch, California, with another good run, this time 11 yards.
I love what Josh Gaddis has done with this run game plan today. Well, first of all, they've scored 3 touchdowns and a field goal in their last 4 possessions. And when they're running the football, Josh Gaddis has run outside of the strength. They're so good in the middle of the field, in the middle of that defense. He's like, well, fine, I'm just going to take my speed and run around you.
True Wilson in now. And I love what Josh Gaddis is doing with this team. You know, it took them some time to get accustomed to this new offense under Coach Gaddis, but slowly but surely they're improving every week. They're getting more comfortable.
I think 2 things. Not as many missed assignments up front by the offensive linemen. That leads to less negative plays, and then they're starting to take care of the football. And those 2 things are going to lead to much more efficient quality offense.
And they're handed off straight ahead to Wilson.
Well, you see the middle of the defense. It's so difficult to run in the middle of the defense. I understand they're trying to soften them up in there, and you got a nice lead, 24-10. You're up 2 possessions. They're trying to establish the run, but the run that they've been successful with is on the outside. And when they've had success throwing the football, it's been off of that run action or just drop back pass, and then getting the ball quickly out to the flats outside of the strength of that defense.
3rd down and 6 at the 50. Patterson delivers. Down up in the air and caught by Tariq Black. A 26-yard gain. And to tell you what, Patterson's got some great touch going on today, but there is a flag.
He's going to get called for an unsportsmanlike because Tariq Black stood up and he gave the double biceps flex.
The result of the play is a completed pass for a first down. After the play was over, unsportsmanlike conduct offense, number 7, a 15-yard penalty. It will be 1st and 10 for Michigan. That is number 7's first unsportsmanlike foul of the game.
You can stand up and give a first down call, but this is going to be considered a taunt, even if it's not directly directed at an opponent. And so the flex from Tariq Black. He's going to move the ball, and Tariq Black, he's trying to plead his case, but that's the correct call. So negates some field position, but still first down.
At the 38-yard line.
Dylan McCaffrey, Gus, make an appearance here. He's at quarterback.
McCaffrey, play fake, throws it. They may want to throw it. Patterson back across the field. Whoa! How about that?
They were trying to get one of two things. You throw it out to Shea Patterson. They had a kind of a go route type post route down the field. If that's open, then you're going to get him down the field. Okay, so you're going to have this guy screaming down the field. If he's not open, which he's not, then you're going to try to get Dylan McCaffrey, who gets knocked down. You see him get knocked down there? So then there was nowhere to throw the football.
For some reason, I feel like they ran a play similar to that with Andrew Luck when Jim Harbaugh was at Stanford.
Oh, I'm sure they have. Here's what they're discussing is that you can't burn the football if you're not the player that takes the snap. You're not afforded the opportunity, even if you're outside of the pocket, to just throw the football away. So since McCaffrey was not near the completion, or excuse me, near the ball, they're going to drop the flag. This is going to be intentional grounding on Michigan.
Only the player who originally receives the snap has license to ground the ball beyond the line of scrimmage. Number 2 of the offense, intentional grounding. Spot foul, loss of down.
Good call, partner.
You know, I've talked to a lot of coaches. Gus, not many people know that rule, and you just go back to remember Shea Patterson, his whole career has just been taught you're outside of the pocket, burn the football, right? But again, it is only afforded the player that receives the snap. He's considered the quarterback. On that play, Shea Patterson's just considered a wide receiver. He cannot burn the football, even though he's far outside of the pocket.
So that'll make it 2nd down and 23 at the 49. Patterson with a traditional pass this time, drops it off. True Wilson, and he goes down immediately. Shakur Brown with the open field tackle.
What a huge turn of events, though, because you're now kind of in the waning moments of the 3rd quarter. You had the completion to Tariq Black. You're going to be set up inside of the 30-yard line. Maybe even, I think it was even inside of the 25-yard line. And now all of a sudden you're 3rd and forever.
3rd down and 20. Ben Van Sumeren is checked in at running back number 40.
Gus, to try a field goal, they're going to have to get somewhere about the 36, 37-yard line in order to get inside of the range of the kickers.
Patterson over the middle. Caught and a first down. McCune.
Well, you're going to have a safety way off the hash, and because of that, McCune is able to just bend it right inside over the linebackers. That safety on that side was Xavier Henderson, number 3. He gets way outside off of the hash. McCune does a great job, and Patterson finds him for his first down. Wow.
So on 3rd and 20, Michigan gets 27. 1st and 10 at the Michigan State 21. Patterson again in the end zone. And incomplete. Nico Collins was in the back, had a step, but knocked down by Shakur Brown. But I'll say it again, I really like the way Shea Patterson is pitching the rock today.
Yeah, here I think he gets hurt by his wide receivers. They're too close together. That double post concept, Gus, is called Dino. That's a Dino route concept. But the inside post, he's got to be way skinnier and across the face of the safety in order to open up that window for the outside post route. Because they were too close together, together, one defender can defend both of them, and it's a real lack of execution there on the outside.
But look at the numbers by Patterson. 20 of 29, 295, and 2 touchdowns. They'll hand it off. Wilson. And Urban Meyer, our coach now in the studio, when asked about the Michigan offense, he said when you put in a new offense, it takes some time for it to marinate. And we're starting to see this offense pay some dividends now for Jim Harbaugh and offensive coordinator Josh Gaddis.
Well, it's so different than what we saw early in the year against teams like Army and even against the Iowa, Gus, in which we were here in the big house.
3rd down and 8 of the 19. Patterson under pressure. He'll dance. Patterson. And he trips and falls down to the 30-yard line. Not necessarily a bad play. Simmons giving chase. Good coverage in the secondary by Michigan State.
He better hope that they rule that this was a fumble and that he wasn't trying to actually throw this. And I know he trips, but if that's ruled a forward pass, it doesn't get anywhere near the line of scrimmage, which means that would have been intentional grounding, even though he was outside of the pocket. So he gets a bit lucky there that they didn't lose any more yardage, but that play backs him way up now for a 49-yard field goal.
Quinn Nordin, 1 of 4 on field goals this season. 2 of his misses have been from beyond 50 yards. He's got a powerful leg, looking to find his rhythm with a nice draw, and it's good. Quinn Nordin, that's a confidence builder for the Wolverines. They've been shaky at the field goal position. Nordin steps into this one. 27-10 Wolverines. 27-10 Michigan looking for their 8th win of the season. As the season winds down, they have Indiana on the road next week, followed by the big one against those Buckeyes, who may be the best team in the country. In my opinion, Ohio State is the best team in the country, regardless of the rankings.
Well, they don't have the best resume, so I understand LSU getting ranked #1, really. I mean, they've got the best wins, but boy, I mean, Ohio State is unbelievably balanced, explosive. They are a really good football team.
Ball fair caught at the 15. Well, when Jim Harbaugh arrived, things weren't great in Ann Arbor. From 2008 to 2014, they had 3 losing seasons and were ranked in the top 10 for exactly 1 week. Since Harbaugh's first season in 2015, they've had 3 10-plus win seasons and been ranked in the top 10 for 32 weeks. Jim Harbaugh is a great, great football coach, one of the best in the game of college football. No, he hadn't won a Big Ten title. Yes, he's 0-4 against Ohio State. But as they say, Rome wasn't built in a day.
Got to win these rivalry games. Got to win these rivalry games. Aiden Hutchinson back in the game.
1st down and 10 at the 25. They fire it out to the far side. Collins drags defenders forward and picks up a 1st down. Lavert Hill defensively. Let's check in with Jenny.
Well, good news, Gus. I know you just saw Aiden Hutchinson back in the mix. Kwity Paye as well. They were both just now reevaluated, doing those eye tests, making sure that they were good to go. But, of course, we saw them kind of hit heads a bit earlier, but having them back in the game, big news for Michigan's defense.
Thank you very much, Jenny. First down. I want to get back to a point you just made in a second. 1st down and 10 at the 36.
Having those guys back on the field in a game in which now Michigan State's going to have to throw the football is a big deal for Michigan here to get those pass rushers in there.
Lewerke, shovel pass forward. And Gillison with the run. You said you got to win those rival games. If you look at Jim Harbaugh's record, he's done extremely well. But Ohio State, no Big Ten titles, is a factor, to the point where at one particular time, especially after the Wisconsin loss, there were rumblings about the fan base wanting to get rid of him, which I think is ridiculous.
Yeah, or you know, whether he would leave after the season. Listen, I think college football is better in the last few years with Jim Harbaugh here at Michigan. They've been more of a factor. The fact is they just haven't been able to beat Ohio State, and that's what you got to do here. Gus, I talk with a lot of college football fans, and a lot of them from Michigan, and they are Wolverine fans. Every snap of the year is watched through the lens of the last game of the year. You know that. You've been doing it your whole life.
Yeah.
I can sense a lot of people at home right now nodding along that are wearing Michigan.
I just don't agree with that. I think it's delusional to expect Michigan to beat Ohio State coming from what Jim Harbaugh inherited. 3rd down and 2 at the 44. It takes time, Collins. But you're not going to find a better coach. Just like the one you have on the Michigan State sideline. And Mark D'Antonio, 3 Big Ten titles. Incredible coach. We'll take a timeout. Back to Ann Arbor after this. Fox College Football is sponsored by AT&T Business from the Big House, Ann Arbor, Michigan. As you take a look at the scoring by quarters, Michigan getting 10 points in the 3rd quarter, leading at 27-10 as we start the 4th. Michigan State going for it now on 4th and 1.
And their 2 previous 4th downs, what they've done is they've brought that wide receiver in motion. They get that little zone read, and then it's been Lewerke on the carry.
Collins, the pistol back. And some movement. Wolverines think it's against the Spartans.
False start. Offense. Number 76. 5-yard penalty. Still 4th down.
A.J. Arcuri. He's that left tackle. Clearly jumps. They were bringing that motion. They were going to do that same concept, but now they're forced to punt. They had success on the 2 previous 4th downs that they had, but Arcuri jumps. And now the Spartans have to punt it away to a very hot and in-rhythm Michigan offense.
Donovan Peoples-Jones is deep. Hartberger standing at the 26. Red is blocked. It's loose. Michigan State recovers, but the Wolverines block it. Khaleke Hudson, the Viper.
Here's Hudson, and he's going to get right up the field, and he does a great job getting inside of that block, and then boom, gets it off the foot of the punter. The pride of McKeesport, Pennsylvania, Khaleke Hudson. What a huge play for Jim Harbaugh's Michigan team, who now have a chance to really put this one away.
The Wolverines take over 1st and 10 at the Michigan State 22. Charbonnet in the backfield. Patterson to throw. Steps. Caught. Touchdown. Nico Collins.
The false start leads to the punt, which leads to the block and a touchdown from Nico Collins. Check out this. This is just beast mode. What a great ball up high for the tall wide receiver, and he's working against the safety. And number 6, David Dow, is no match at 6'1" for Nico Collins at 6'4", who climbs the ladder for a touchdown. What a sequence there for the Wolverines.
4th receiving touchdown of the season for Nico Collins, the junior from Birmingham, Alabama. Extra point up and good. 34-10. 3rd touchdown pass of the day for Shea Patterson. After the block punt by Khaleke Hudson, the Wolverines punch it in. now Michigan with a 34-10 lead. Prior to today, Shea Patterson's best passing day this season, 276 yards against Penn State and Rutgers. However, this afternoon, he's 21 of 30, 318 yards passing, 3 touchdown passes, no picks.
And I'm sure our director is thrilled that he is hiding now when we're trying to put him on television.
Yes.
Oh, listen, I don't think that there's any doubt about it. This is the best game Shea Patterson has played in a Michigan uniform.
They're starting to believe.
It just looks way different. Looks way different. Their ability to throw the football. They found an ability to run the football a bit outside of the tackle box. You know, they haven't run it great today against that great Spartan defensive front seven, but I got to tell you, they can throw it really well.
All right, let's go to Sam Farber for a game break.
Gus, number 9 Penn State, and a good one with 7-2 Indiana. Nittany Lions Journey Brown with a 35-yard touchdown to go up by 13. But Hoosiers have posted 10 straight. Peyton Ramsey, the 1-yard score, makes it a 3-point game. Remember, guys, you have Penn State, Ohio State next week for Big Noon on Fox.
Not only do we have Penn State, Ohio State next week, but Michigan heads to Bloomington to take on Indiana next week. If the Wolverines can get out of here with a victory, that game is huge. And the Hoosiers will be ready. 1st and 10 at the 25. Lewerke over the middle and caught. Nicely done. Cody White again. Cody White having a big game. A 22-yard gain on that play. Stopped by Khaleke Hudson. 71 receiving yards on 5 catches for Cody.
Cody went for well over 100 yards last week against Illinois. He's their best player on the outside. For most of the day, Michigan has been double-teaming Cody White, trying to take him away from this pass offense. But now there's just kitchen sink time for Michigan State. They got to drop back, and they got to sling it.
First down. Lewerke sprinting out of the pocket, and it's intercepted. Laverne Hill, second interception of the day for Brian Lewerke. And it comes once again off a tip pass.
They're trying to half roll in the pocket, and he's trying to get the ball to Cody White as we got some fireworks here near the Michigan bench, pushing and shoving. But he doesn't get the ball out in front of Cody White. This ball has got to be led outside, because as soon as that receiver has to reach back over his right shoulder, there's the tip. Hill is right there, and Laverne Hill, 3rd interception of the year. And Michigan seems to be pouring it on now. This team is a completely different team than we saw early in the year. Gus, we were in the booth in Madison when they got absolutely run by the Badgers. They had no energy. They had no rhythm on offense. Their defense was giving up more yards than we have seen under Don Brown really ever. And now this defense is flying around. They're creating turnovers. The passing game has certainly taken hold. The offensive line has found themselves with some rhythm. And this Wolverines team looks like a totally different team here in the second half of the year.
Michigan would love to drop the hammer here. 1st and 10 at the 44. Patterson swings it out. Bell, who's having a career day, a flag on the play. Nico Collins was blocking on that side. Let's see if it goes against the Wolverines.
There's a flag down towards the end of the run, and there's also a couple of flags down. Michigan State hit Shea Patterson late. Patterson was down for a moment, but now he is back up. And after tempers were flaring there after the interception, my fear is that the emotions are just running way too high right now on both sides as the game starts to get out of reach from the Michigan State standpoint.
Spartans came in here losers of 4 straight games.
There are 2 fouls on the play. Personal foul. Illegal low block. Offense, number 19. Personal foul. Roughing the passer. Defense, number 96. Number 96's foul is flagrant. He's disqualified from the game. The foul's offset.
All right, let's look at the route first. 19 is Mike Sainrissil. He goes down low. I didn't think that was from the side, but he's illegal low block is called. And then here is after the play, way after the throw. That's Jacob Panasiuk, the junior from Illinois, took 2 or 3 steps before hitting Shea Patterson and correctly called flagrant by the official. And he's ejected from the game.
Drew Wilson.
Let's hope this doesn't get out of hand, right? I mean, obviously emotions running high, but Panasiuk cannot do that. That's not even close. He wasn't even close to a step. Severely late. Also forcible. I thought it was a correct call by the official, and also trying to get this thing back under control after tempers are clearly running high.
2nd and 9 at the 43. And Patterson runs it. He's got McCune in front of him blocking, looking for the first down, and he'll be a tad short as he falls down in front of David Dowell.
They've had a lot more quarterback run today, haven't they?
Yes.
And I think that that's been a real big part of establishing their rhythm. I talked about earlier how effective they were a year ago in the quarterback run game, and just hadn't seen it as much this year, but it has opened things up. And I think, Gus, more importantly, it established some rhythm for Shea Patterson. He's thrown the ball better than he ever has in a Michigan uniform. I think in part it's because he has been involved in the quarterback run game as well. In that 98-yard drive, he had a big run for a first down, and Josh Gattis has allowed him to get out and establish some of that rhythm. And he's done a great job then of taking that rhythm that is established with his feet and transferring it into the passing game.
Patterson has run it 5 times from the quarterback position. First down and 10. Patterson out wide. Bell turns it up. First down and more. Ronnie Bell, what a day.
He is so smooth, isn't he? Wolverines fans, don't get too mad at this, but the comparison is he's got a little Chris Olave.
I was just getting ready to say that.
Like Chris Olave, the terrific young wide receiver for Ohio State, and Ronnie Bell, they remind me of each other. They're so fluid, have a basketball background. In fact, last year when we were here talking with Pep Hamilton, who was an assistant coach, of course, at Michigan a year ago, he said when they found Ronnie Bell, it was on a basketball court. And he was thinking to himself, I don't see anything. There's nothing quite special. And then he saw him go up and dunk the basketball, and he was like, offer.
Today, Bell, 9 catches, 150 yards. Patterson, and he gets drilled. Lost it, and Michigan will recover. As John Mayfield dove on the football. Kenny Willekes getting to the quarterback. 6.5 sacks for him now this season.
Well, partner, actually, that was Drew Beasley who hit him. 86.
Holding. Offense, number 50. That penalty is declined. 2nd down.
Drew Beasley was working at the left defensive end position. Watch as he gets around here, and he just beats the right tackle. That's 73 Jalen Mayfield. And Beasley's the one that knocks it out as Willekes gets there a touch late. And then Michigan's fortunate to get on the ball. There's the holding call. Michael Onwenu, the right guard. Patterson was decked on that play.
Loss of 11, 2nd and 21 at the 32. And they're running straight ahead with Wilson. Josh Gattis, his first year, coming over from Alabama, where he was a co-offensive coordinator. Gattis played his football at Wake Forest, was a safety, played in the NFL briefly, most notably with the Chicago Bears.
They're holding up that 4-minute sign, Gus, because that's telling everybody on the field what the tempo of offense they want. So they're going to try to mull around, not get into formation until 12, 11, 10 on the play clock. And then Patterson won't snap the football until he's got under 5 or 4 seconds on the play clock each and every time. 3rd
down and 19 at the 30. Patterson near side. Peoples-Jones down the sideline, still moving. Spurs down. Touchdown!
got by 2 Michigan State players while he was tight roping the sideline. Trey Person, 24, had a shot. Xavier Henderson has a shot. Here's 24. Here's Person. He's got a shot. Can't get him out of bounds. Now Xavier Henderson's got a chance, and that one was close. That left foot looked like it may have hit the sideline. Not this step, but right here. Watch. Oh. The frame before that, it sure looked like his foot hits the sideline right. Yep, there.
The ruling on the field of a touchdown is under further review.
That's a great look right there. Here's the foot. Gus, that looks to me like indisputable video evidence that Donovan Peoples-Jones stepped out when Henderson contacted him. Right there, about the 15-yard line. Boy, it's close because of the angle of his foot. It's ruled that he was inbounds. I got to tell you, that's, to me, more definitive than the look last week in the TCU-Baylor game, in which they had the player out of bounds inside the 5, but very similar. Dean Blandino is with us. Dean, reminds me of last week's TCU-Baylor play, like I was saying. This looks like more definitive as far as being out of bounds. What do you think?
Yeah, I agree with you, Joel. We had that game last week with the foot out of bounds, and they reversed it. I feel like the foot's out of bounds here. That left foot right at the 15. The shot from behind was the great look, this one here. And to me, he's out, and they should bring it back, put the ball at the 15.
So if that happens, it'll be 4th and 4, guys, at the 15-yard line.
After review, the runner stepped out of bounds at the 15-yard line, at which point it will be 4th down and 4 for Michigan.
So they'll take the points off the board, 34-10.
Please reset the game clock.
Coach Harbaugh faced with a 4th down and 4. Quinn Nordin comes on the field.
10-26.
He's 2 for 2 today, 28 and 49 yards. They really want to get his confidence back because he's got a big leg.
I mean, a huge leg. You should see him kick in warm-ups. I mean, he makes 50, 52, 53-yarders with ease halfway up the net behind the field goal post. So this is just an easy chip shot. He does tend to hit the ball really hard with a cut, and he can at times miss it out to the right.
33 yards, not this time. Nice and smooth for Quinn Nordin. 3 for 3. He's coming back. 37-10, Michigan. Michigan State 37-10, our score. Wolverines look really good today.
Shea Patterson has been right in the middle of that. Most passing yards versus Michigan State. Shea Patterson with 345. And anytime you're passing the GOAT, you're doing something.
That would be Tom Brady, the greatest of all time. Jake Moody will kick it away. The deep man for Michigan State, Anthony Williams. And this one into the end zone for a touchback. World heavyweight champion Deontay Wilder faces challenger Luis Ortiz in a rematch of their incredible first fight. Plus, Leo Santa Cruz faces Miguel Flores for the super featherweight world title next Saturday at 9 Eastern, 6 Pacific, live on pay-per-view, or order it on the Fox Sports app. Deontay Wilder from Alabama, big Alabama fan. Alabama playing Mississippi State today.
Sick about Tua.
Yeah, that's a tough one.
Left on a cart. See what the injury is. It's been reported that it was not his ankle. Likely a hip injury, so a new injury for Alabama's sensational quarterback today in that ballgame.
First down and 10 at the 25 for Brian Lewerke and the Spartans. Down 37-10. Lewerke, he'll run it. And slides down at the 30-yard line.
It's just been a frustrating second half for Brian Lewerke. So similar to last week when they had that just nightmare of a second half and game against Illinois. They turned the ball over 4 times. Illinois has a 25-point comeback. And wins it up there in East Lansing, and Lewerke today with the interception issues here in the second half.
Second down and 6. 3 picks last week, 2 picks today. Cody White with the Cats, and it's just been tough sledding for Lewerke against Michigan. Last year he was dealing with a shoulder injury and finished a dismal 5 of 25 for 66 yards. Earlier in his career he broke his leg against the Wolverines.
Not an easy defense to play against. Don Brown certainly has a lot of speed on the field this year at Michigan. They're not as big as they've been in the past. You know, it's, to me, I tell you what I'm surprised about. I'm surprised Michigan defends the run as well as they do with as much speed and with the size that they put on the field.
1st and 10 at the 36. Lewerke dropping back, steps up, sliding, and throws as he's hit incomplete. And yesterday when we were talking about Coach Brown's relationship with Bill Belichick, Matt Patricia, and the New England Patriots, and how last year he was a man team, but he's made a shift.
Well, I think the best thing that Don Brown does is exactly what those guys have done with New England, and now what Matt Patricia is trying to do with Detroit, which is you take your personnel and you figure out what they can do best, and then you try to operate within that. Right now, Michigan has a really good, fast, undersized defense, so he tries to play into their hands by putting more rushers on the field, more defensive backs on the field, and let their speed take over like you're seeing right here.
Lewerke, incomplete. Pressure on Lewerke.
See how fast they are? They're always around the football. I think it's the best trait of this version of.
But what about when you're playing a power team like Ohio State?
That remains to be seen. That's when they put Carlo Kemp back in the game, the defensive tackle, number 2. That's when they put Michael Dwumfor, number 50, into the game. As they try to get a little bit bigger, they put Jordan Glasgow next to Cameron McGrone. Now, in a passing situation, you just go all pass rushers. So you got Uche, number 6. You got Michael Dana, number 4. Quiddipay, 19. 97, Aiden Hutchinson. These are 4 defensive ends in the football game, and they're just in there to get after the passer.
Lewerke fires and incomplete. Cody White running stride for stride with Ambry Thomas. That brings up 4th down and long.
Boy, what a frustrating day for Michigan State. Mark D'Antonio wanted his guys to come out here, be aggressive. He wanted them to be ready for the conflict, and it looks like they were ready early, but then the mistakes started to pile up. Think about that sequence where they have the false start when they're trying to go for it on 1st down. The next play, they have a blocked punt. The next play, it's a touchdown for Michigan. That's kind of, in a nutshell, the day today for Michigan State.
Last punt for Michigan State, blocked by Khaleke Hudson. They almost get there again, and a flag on the play. Donovan Peoples-Jones turns a corner. More flags. Peoples-Jones loses the ball. Michigan State has it at the 20.
Part of the flag is not the contact with the punter, which was actually his own guy, but you've got to allow the opportunity for the punter to have his plant leg. You can't take out his plant leg, and it looked to me like as Michigan was trying to block that kick, they took out that area that the punter is afforded to stay up. That's why the flag comes out. So not the contact, but kind of the plant leg area. And then late, there was a bunch of flags on that return as well.
There is no foul on the play for running into the kicker. The play resulted in a double change of possession, with Michigan State ending up with the ball. We have a sideline interference penalty against Michigan for running into the coach, 15 yards, 1st down, Michigan State.
Let's see if he actually hits the plant leg. Oh, no, he doesn't. And then the contact is his own player. That's an excellent job by the official of picking up that flag. I thought that the initial block took out his plant leg. There's the clear fumble after the change of possession. So that's why Michigan State then will retain the football. And then there's the coach. Jim Harbaugh was over there. He makes contact with the official. That's what draws the sideline warning. But that's an excellent call. And I got to tell you, Dan Capron has done a great job, the official today. He's controlled the emotions. They've talked about the calls. They've picked up a flag or two when they've needed to. Dan has done a nice job. That was a great no call on that running into the punter there.
8:20 to go. Lewerke to throw it, and Lewerke is sacked. Jordan Glasgow gets to the quarterback. A rough year for Michigan State.
Man.
But Mark D'Antonio has won more Big Ten titles, 3, and bowl games 5 than any Spartan head coach in history. Earlier this season, he passed Duffy Daugherty for the most wins in school history. Down year for Coach D.
I think why people grumble and why they get frustrated is the height at which they were at, you know, from 2013 to 2015.
Working, completing it on the run to Seibert. And you have a philosophy, a theory about how things can shift for a team like Michigan State in the Big Ten.
Well, within a conference, what you have is kind of hierarchies. We all know it. We all get it. And that hierarchy really takes place in recruiting. And you've got to beat the teams that are on your level in recruiting. You know, very few times if you're a Michigan State or a Wisconsin are you going to beat Ohio State in recruiting. That's just the nature of it. If you get mad at that comment, then you're not a realist. And right now, Michigan State has been in a downturn when it comes to the recruiting process. They don't quite have the players they had in those few years where they were making the college football playoff and winning Big Ten championships. And I think part of that, partner, is the fact that James Franklin has really established himself as a recruiting power at Penn State. So the rise of Penn State has kind of coincided with a little bit of a downturn for Michigan State. You throw in some injuries, not playing very clean football, the turnovers, and this is what you get.
And the controversy, both at Penn State and at Michigan State. Each team going through some very, very tough times. Spartans will punt it away. 6th punt of the game for Hartbarger. Had one blocked. And Donovan Peoples-Jones trying to get outside, and we'll go down to the 25. 6:05 to play, 4th quarter, 37-10. Michigan with the lead and the football when we come back. Welcome back, 37-10. Michigan looking for their 8th win of the season. And right now, the Wolverines are 6:05 away. They'll take over. 1st down and 10. At the 25-yard line, Patterson handing it off to True Wilson. He'll gain a yard and a half on the play. Mike Panashuk with the tackle. His brother got chucked from this game for a late hit.
Let's take a look at the road ahead for Michigan, sponsored by Coors Light. Made to chill, celebrate responsibly. And it's pretty clear. At Indiana, a resurgent Indiana. They're down by 10 here inside of a minute at Penn State. That's a pretty good football team. And then, of course, no need to even tell you what's going on at the end of the year. Right here in the Big House. And our Big Noon Saturday show will be live for 2 hours from the Big House.
2nd down and 8. Wilson again. And Wilson out of bounds. The producer of today's game, Chuck McDonald. The director, we call him the Vision, Rich Dewey. Our technical director is Glenn Wilhelm. The associate directors, Bubba Slosby and Ryan Doherty. Sideline producer, Johnny Area. And the broadcast associate, Andrew Wolf. Our technical producer is Thomas Lynch. Statisticians, Jeff Chapman and Josh Franz. Steve Owens is our researcher. And my spotter is Scott Duthard. 3rd down and 3 at the 33. Patterson keeps it, looking for the 1st down, and he has it as he slides down inbounds. And the guys braving the elements today. Wyatt Anderson, Bobby Wilson, Derek Jones, Jeff Peel, Andy Nelson, and Rusty Dunbar. Michael Rusty Dunbar. I didn't know Rusty's name was Michael. Here they are on a nice and warm 28-degree day here in the state of Michigan.
They do a great job for us every single week. I know, partner, I speak for yourself as well as Jenny Taft when I say we are so grateful and thankful for all of their hard work each and every Saturday, bringing you these amazing college football games. Just to keep you up to speed there was an unsportsmanlike on Michigan State late in that play. It was Mike Panashuk, Jacob's brother. Jacobs got the hook. He was ejected earlier. Mike Panashuk just took an unsportsmanlike penalty there, and that's why the ball's moved up across the 50-yard line.
First down and 10 at the 47. And they'll run it. Wilson sidestepping. But what a day for Shea Patterson. This is the breakout performance they've been looking for.
Well, and he was pretty consistent. You know, there was a couple of passes where maybe you could nitpick at his ball placement, but for the most part, he was getting the ball in places where his guys could make plays. That was, I thought, his best pass of the day. That beautiful touchdown pass to Nico Collins. Jim Harbaugh loving it. And this is why they changed to this offense. They felt like it was going to fit their quarterback, Shea Patterson, the best. The speed in space, Josh Gaddis offense, and 345 yards later. What an amazing day.
Wilson running 3 touchdown passes, no interceptions.
That's the key, partner. The key. If Shea Patterson plays clean, they can beat anybody.
Anybody?
It'll be a real good game.
I mean, those guys down there are pretty good.
They're so good.
You know, they are. Those guys down there can play. 3rd down and 2. And
well, it certainly makes it a more intriguing matchup, right?
Chase Young is back after this week. Can you imagine if he would have played against Maryland and Rutgers?
Boy, they're going to score 80?
Well, I'm talking about in terms of sacks. And it's caught. Looks like another touchdown for Michigan. Cornelius Johnson, the freshman from Greenwich, Connecticut. 4 touchdown passes today for Shea Patterson. And the Wolverines have really put it on little brother.
Well, they have a little RPO where it looks like Patterson's just going to run. The corner comes off of the wide receiver, Cornelius Johnson, the freshman, and he gets behind the defense. And an easy touchdown there. What a great little play design. 4 touchdowns, 384 yards for Shea Patterson, and Michigan puts up 43 points on Michigan State. Ouch.
And it's the way the Wolverines handled their business today. Remember, Josh Gaddis, this is his first year as the offensive coordinator, brought in a whole new system. It's taken him some time, but right now, Coach Gaddis, he's got his boys percolated. And it looks like the Paul Bunyan Trophy will remain in Ann Arbor. 44-10, Michigan. Leading Michigan State with 2:33 to go here in the 4th quarter. Gus Johnson, Joel Klatt, Jenny Taft with you from Ann Arbor.
Gus, this is the reason they switched offenses. Just looking at the numbers, Michigan has run the ball for 2.6 yards per carry, under 100 yards. They've got 86 yards rushing. In the past, they could not win football games this way. They were 1-14 in Jim Harbaugh's tenure when running the football for under 105 yards, or 2.9 per carry. And you look up, and they've scored 44 points. This was the reason. When you face a team that stops the run, can you still go out there and score and move the football up and down the field? And they've been able to do that today.
All right. Over the next 2 weeks, Fox's Big Noon Saturday will cover the biggest games in college football. Next week, it's a top matchup when Penn State takes on Ohio State. And then on Thanksgiving weekend, it's the greatest rivalry in college football, as those guys from up north take on the guys from down there, Ohio State, Michigan. The big noon kickoff, fellas, will be on location for both. It all starts at 10 a.m. right here on Fox.
Personal foul. Unnecessary roughness. Kicking team. Number 21. Half the distance to the goal. First down, Michigan State.
Here's the end. So it was that shove apparently by 21. They called it on the return team because they're marking it back half the distance. That's right. Fouls against the receiving team the way that they called it. That was Chase Klein, number 21. Low bump. And Mark Dantonio's just got to be beside himself. The penalties, the mistakes, they just cannot put together a clean game. And they haven't been able to do that all year long, whether it was Arizona State early in the year or against Penn State, against Ohio State. Today, last week, they just could not get out of their own way against Illinois. I mean, at times you felt like they had to actively try to lose that game in order for it to go the way that it did. And then today in the second half, it's just been more of the same.
First down at the 14. Lewerke under pressure. And he'll run it out of bounds as he crosses the line of scrimmage. Michigan State picked to finish third in the Big Ten preseason media poll behind Michigan and Ohio State.
This was supposed to be a year where they were a really good team. I think that's another reason why people are so frustrated. They had so many returning starters. That defense had so many veteran players, and then they've been ravaged by injuries, and they've been turning the football over, and it just has not gone their way.
Lewerke. And he's sacked again. Third sack of the day. This time it's Carlo Kemp.
Great rush from Carlo Kemp, the senior, playing really good football. Kemp is going to come around. He's sitting in there at the defensive tackle spot, and he comes all the way around on a little bit of a stunt. And he comes around the right side of the offensive line, and he gets to Brian Lewerke, who has to go down again. And Lewerke has got to just be thinking to himself, how in the world are we in this position again against Michigan? They just cannot put together 4 quarters. He has not had the ability to play consistent football against this Michigan team in any of his 3 tries.
And a timeout called. We'll step away for 30 seconds. Back after this.
30-second timeout.
1:12 to go in the fourth quarter, 44-10. This one should feel good for Jim Harbaugh. He's only lost 4 home games in his 5 years at Michigan. 2 to Ohio State and 2 to the Michigan State Spartans.
This one certainly will be sweet. And now that's back-to-back home games, by the way. Notre Dame, they put it on them here. Michigan State rolls in, and they're putting it on them here. They hope that that trend continues in 2 weeks.
And the ball complete. Gillison, he stood up and taken backwards. Ambry Thomas defensively for the Wolverines. But first for Michigan, Indiana will not be easy.
And that's a team that they struggled with a bit here at home.
We called that game last year.
Last year, late last year, right before the game. Remember, Winovich got hurt. He wasn't necessarily 100% the next week. Indiana played well, there's no doubt. So that will not be an easy game, in particular on the road with what's looming ahead of them. Pards, it's pretty early. What are you going to be doing? This is your hometown. What are you going to do the rest of the day?
I tell you what, Joe. When you're from Michigan and you work, the day will be spent with 2 Conies, a bag of Better Made, and a Faygo. Bitter rivals. Jim Harbaugh, 0-4 coming into this one against his rivals at home.
And that turnover margin is really what had killed him, and they were terrific today. Only turned the ball over the one time. That was on that punt when Donovan Peoples-Jones fumbled it. They got the 2 picks from Brian Lewerke. You can see the smile. You know that this one means a lot to Jim Harbaugh, as Paul Bunyan staying right here. I kind of wish those wouldn't be gold pants. I kind of wish they'd put khakis on them.
Put khakis on it when Coach Harbaugh wins today.
Right.
To the Lululemon khakis. Shea Patterson, what a day. 24 of 33. 384 yards passing. 4 touchdown passes. No interceptions, no turnovers. The Wolverines in victory formation. Ronnie Bell, 9 catches, 150 yards. And this is the 4th time in Patterson's career he's thrown 4 or more touchdown passes. The first time at the University of Michigan. Paul Bunyan will stay in Ann Arbor. 44-10 the final. Michigan wins their 8th game of the season. Up next, Indiana in Bloomington. For Joel Klatt and Jenny Taff, I'm Gus Johnson. We will have more post-game coverage from Rob and the guys after this break.